This is the worst part where I have to introduce the thing. Yeah, we're good? Hi everyone, welcome back to Mirror Mind. Today I'm with Katleko and Gifts. I'm sure you must have seen some of them in our previous episodes. This episode was especially designed so that these two guys can meet, because I've heard some information from Katleko that relates to religion, and if there's one guy who can respond to that, it's Gifts. He's I can say a scholar of the Bible itself.
He's a mini scholar.
A mini scholar. And I'm hoping maybe I can pitch in, because I would say I'm a scholar of my mind. So let's see where this can take us. And as usual, we're not teaching you anything. The best thing you can do is to learn from yourself. Just get the information, and wherever that will lead you should be fine enough. So welcome, my brothers.
Thanks, man.
I think I will give the table to Katleko.
Yeah.
You perhaps try to give us a direction.
Okay.
I'm not a good director.
So, as you were still enlightening us about the different types of religions and the common messages that they have, you were still explaining to us that they speak about the excellence of men, but
they try to enthrone the excellence of men. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So, can you explain to us what they speak about the excellence of men?
Like, for example, if you think about religions like Hinduism and a lot of Eastern religions, they try to find a point at which man becomes or achieves excellence, as a whole. So they perceive the spirit to be of some sort of excellent place to draw value from.
Okay.
But then it's not from outside of itself.
What do you mean by that?
It's that there is nothing else outside of. So basically, like, Shintoism and stuff like that. They have all these teachings, like, and a lot of religions actually come to this point.
Okay.
I'll harmonize all these ideas.
Sure.
So they come to this thing of making us one with creation. You'll hear this common trace of, we are a part of creation. In African teachings, you'll hear things like, Mother Earth, and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And so those ideas all originate from one idea, trying to find excellency in the person out without anything in existence outside.
Okay.
So it can create two areas of teaching.
Okay.
It can create a sense where the spirit of the person, creates the environment of excellency. For example, reincarnation. It's a way of seeking, or it's reaching excellency.
Okay.
But then if you go to other traditions in Asia, they look at it as a way of punishment, but they don't have the punisher. So there's no rule. So do you see why I say, at the end of the day, what it seeks to do is to find excellency within itself.
Okay. What I can comment to that, if I'm understanding what you're saying or what they're trying to communicate, is they look at men as part of creation.
Yeah.
That creation is perfect. Where men, I would say, fall short, it's where now our perception of that wholeness of creation, we don't really see it.
Where man sees himself,
Exactly. That I was discussing with them that hence we are born as sinners, because you are born not seeing the whole picture of creation in relation to yourself and everything.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy for someone to kill someone, or easy for you to pillage nature, because you don't even see the correlation or the connection of you and the whole system.
Yeah.
So the part that you are arguing that they not including the shortfall of men outside the environment.
Yeah.
They
they don't have any outside area where excellency comes from.
Okay.
So because remember, if you are saying human, think about it. If you're saying this is creation is excellent,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
We are the ones that are corrupting it. And you'll see this also in Hinduism and a lot of gurus' teachings and stuff like that. What is his name? Shantai Guru, whatever that guy.
Okay.
He also has the same ideas.
Yeah.
It's that creation is excellent. Spirit is excellent.
Yeah.
Human must rise to excellence.
Sure.
And so that's where they have the whole thing of the rankings of human and saying there are humans who have ascended and there are humans who have achieved some form of excellency.
Okay.
But they don't have a being outside of that. The only way we achieve this excellence is by being part of creation or recognizing our harmony with creation. That's what gives us that.
Yeah.
So with Buddha, for example,
Sure.
they say, how did he get there? Understanding oneself. They like this statement. Understanding oneself.
Okay, sure.
Understanding oneself brought him to a place of discarding materialism.
Okay.
You know, but then it's kind of very contradictory that that's how he got there.
Okay. How so?
I think it goes. It actually goes a long way. I don't know if we want to go that route because
Okay.
it goes to the route of knowledge, and I think that's the conversation that we had, like how God brings mankind to knowledge.
Okay.
You know, it's and we spoke about experience being how we come to know and so forth and whatnot. Like when, there was one particular favorite question of mine that that we spoke about on our last conversation when we were with Willie.
Yeah.
We were asking, what tells a child to learn? Yes, you are teaching the child, but what tells a child to learn?
Yeah.
So they just have it in them to learn.
Curiosity.
Yeah. And so that already tells us that within mankind it's the ability to acquire the knowledge. So that tells you that there's something outside of the excellency in which man can rise to, or what he perceives as excellency. For me, this is a fall of all these religions.
Because what I'm hearing is the excellence, maybe you might correct me if I'm not getting it correct. The excellency of man that they are talking about, it's what you just said. Nature and creation and man is perfect. It's our perception that corrupts the whole thing.
Yes.
Because when we are born, our level of awareness, whoever controls the environment, the medium, the teaching, how we grow up, controls how we are going to behave, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So in that distinction, you can see now the behavior that we come to live with ourselves and in our environment. It's where now we are lacking that harmony, that all these masters throughout time, whether Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, everyone, got to practice and achieve that level of consciousness. That's why when you look at, some people ask the question, why, how come Jesus' name at first was Joshua, then later on is Jesus Christ? But when you look at the title Christ back in the day, it was actually a title like when you go study for a certain period of time, a certain study, then you achieve that title. Like when you go study medicine, when you are done, you are doctor, 1, 2, 3. So achieving that level of understanding of life.
Is that the meaning of Christ?
Yeah, Christ is a level of consciousness that
Where do you
get.
get that information from?
It's the mystery
teachings.
mystics. The mystics taught that the title only had that particular thing. But if you go in from the Hebrew side of thing, the title Christ literally was a particular figure that was expected to come to shift man back to the redemptive plan.
Exactly. So that means what? If all of us, we achieve our Christ awareness, then we'll be redempted, we'll live in harmony with each other and the environment. So practically you can see what he was just trying to do is teach people how to achieve his level of awareness to reduce the suffering, because the root cause of suffering is how we perceive ourselves in relation to the environment that we live in.
Okay. Is that how you see it?
Exactly.
Do you see the pitfall?
How?
Tell us the pitfall.
No. How
The,
so?
the pitfall is that it ultimately does exactly what I'm saying it does. It creates an environment of excellency of the person. Because let's say, for example, when you say Christ came to teach us so that we can ascend, right?
Yeah.
I'm not misinterpreting it.
Yeah.
And so, if this is what he came to do, you are leaving him as savior because he's just there to teach. He is
No, wait,
savior.
wait. What do you mean I'm
Okay.
leaving him a savior?
This is his knowledge. This is what he's teaching.
Yeah.
And this is him. So the question is, does the Bible tell us just take his knowledge and apply the knowledge, and then you can also now, live rightly or come to a point? Or does the Bible actually say, take him?
The person?
Yes. Do you see the difference?
No. That one, that's where I don't agree. Because taking him, the person, now you're going to end up idolizing him as a person, then negate his teachings. Because when you take
So
him
you give more importance to the
to the
teachings
person
than the person.
than the information. You
And
see.
you, if I understand correctly, you give more importance to the person
To the
than
person.
to
The
the
person, yeah, because the person then makes me have the capability to understand the knowledge.
How
The
so?
knowledge can't, because if we are speaking about attaining eternal life or restoration of relationship, because that's what he came for. If we just make it, no, he came to think. Let me explain this point first, then I'll get to.
Sure.
If we just keep it at Jesus came and he gave a good example.
Okay.
He's no different to the Buddhas of the world and so forth. But then if we say that's not what he came for, he came here to save man
By doing what?
by restoring relationship. Our issue was the fall. Remember, from Christian theology or from Hebraic theologies, that man had a point where he fell.
Explain the falling part for the rest of the viewers.
The fall is that we missed the longevity of life that we were given in creation,
Sure.
and by so doing, we lost our place in the hierarchy of creation.
Okay.
And so right now we have man. Phone is ringing. Right now we have man. There is us at a point where you are afraid of a lion. In creation, you were not created to be afraid of a lion. You were created to rule over the lion.
Sure.
And so this hierarchy has been messed up because of that fall, of disobedience towards God. So there was a rule that was given, and we went contrary to that rule. And as a result of that, there was a need for a Messiah to come in the physical body to redeem us in the physical body. And so it would make it possible for us to now listen to the knowledge and apply it proper. And so if we go for the knowledge and not the person, what happens is that you still don't have the capability of fully coming to a full understanding of this knowledge.
That's where you and I are going to differ, because
Yeah.
exactly what you say, that the fall of man is in direct correlation to how we come to find ourselves behaving, that we are fearful of, as you put it, the example, lions and whatnot. For me, it speaks back to our level of awareness.
Okay.
When you describe the fall, I take it as our level of awareness or perception of reality. God corrupted. Hence, Jesus needs to come back and remind us to come back to our true level of awareness, that we're able to participate in the world. And he's not the only one. Because when you look at these teachings,
The message.
he's not the only one, not the person, the message.
Let's be specific. I like that particular subject. This thing where people say what Jesus taught is exactly what everybody else taught.
What's the fundamental aspect of his teaching when you look at it? Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. What is it?
You're dead.
What do you
I'm
mean?
here to redeem. That's the whole. Because remember,
It says you dead.
We are dead.
Y'all are dead. The core root of the message of Jesus is that mankind is fallen. Man is dead. this is not life.
What is
As-
dead? What
Yeah,
is dead?
describe death.
What,
Spirit
what
man.
kind of death is this?
It's our capability of perceiving the true value of our authority within the hierarchy of all things created. So we are dead in that sense.
You describe that as dead.
Yes.
Not just perception is wrong. Because that's your perception is wrong.
No, but do
Or
you know?
maybe
but
we are corrupted.
Yeah,
it's
we are
not corruption.
corrupted.
No, you are dead. But let me show you why the word dead is such a heavy term that the Bible actually uses.
Okay.
Is that a dead person can't do for himself. So that's why you need the person.
Okay.
And so you don't need the knowledge. The knowledge will make you perceive life. And Hebrews chapter number 6 illustrates this, that if you have the knowledge, what's going to happen is that you will have performance. You will correct things. You will change things. You will become a good guy and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't have the person, you'll have a problem, because there is no restoration of relationship that creates harmony between this and this.
That's why I don't understand, Christianity when they say
Okay.
have the person. But the guy is dead. He's gone. He's not here.
He died and he resurrected.
We
We can
that.
disbelieve here.
Yeah.
Is Mike picking up? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the guy is not dead. So how is this even different to ancestral worshipping of dead people, asking for guidance and whatnot? How is it different?
Okay, so basically what happens when I am, or what we mean when we say we need the person, right?
Yeah.
And so remember, we are still on the point of what? The similarities of all these religions, right?
Sure.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So what is it that Christianity is saying when it says we are dead and we need Jesus?
Okay.
What are they saying?
Okay.
Sometimes we are just failing in words to bring a proper comprehension to what exactly is it that we are saying.
Sure.
So what we are saying is that you, as the person, you have three areas that are in function as a whole.
Sure.
The spirit man, the flesh, and sorry for giving the finger.
Nah, no problem.
The spirit man, the soul, and the flesh.
Sure.
The soul part of you is comprehension, your emotions, your all of that stuff that makes you.
We can say, for example, your soul, it's where you accumulate all the experiences
of your life.
Of your life.
Yeah,
It's
so-
recorded there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what makes you you.
Exactly. Then the spirit is the collective experience of everything now. That's where me I'll call God.
Is that your understanding as well? What is the spirit?
For me, spirit,
It's a being like myself.
spirit, it's a being of beings that expresses itself into souls, then souls incarnate into realities.
Yeah, it pours into life, into life, basically.
So the spirit is the
I don't
collection.
understand that point. So what? Spirit? What is the spirit?
The spirit is what pours. What is the capability? It has the capability.
When you say it's a being,
yeah,
what do you mean by that? It's a separate entity from you.
yes,
No, for me, I don't believe it's a separate entity.
okay.
It's like right now the cells in your body.
No, but maybe I mean it in a different way. But you explain the point so that the person,
It's like right now the cells in your body, they are having their own individual experiences, but they're still a part of you. But from their level of experiences, they are just interacting with each other from a different perspective. Then there's you, the person, that encompasses the overall cell's experience, which gives you a certain experience of what is happening within your body. So when you look at the spirit as a whole, spirit, or you can call it God, it's what expresses itself in its creation so that it can experience another angle of itself using all the expressions that it has, whether this mic, me and you, animals, planets, everything.
Okay.
That's the spirit nature of reality. And all of that information is processed to give it or knowledge of what it is to be you, your experience of life, growing up wherever you grew up, this mic, water, however it's bottled, whether it's in the ocean or here, it's all giving that information back to it.
Okay. And so if does that answer that
That's his. I wanted to hear
Yours.
from yours.
Let's hear
your
yours.
point of view.
And so, for me, the spirit is what connects us with eternity. And so, it's not just the experience that it's having down here; is that it connects to eternity.
Yeah.
And so that gives a response for the afterlife. Is that so the spirit person in me has that experience currently as a born again Christian.
Sure.
That's the one that has eternal life.
Sure.
I have it. So the physical man doesn't experience it because he has his day of redemption.
You
Yes.
mean flesh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna die. He's gonna face death, and then when we are resurrected,
Sure.
the body is reunited with the spirit,
Sure.
with the spirit man.
Yeah.
But in its current state,
Yeah.
the spirit man is a being like myself.
Sure.
He's the one whom I am aware of.
Yeah.
If I sense a danger, if I have a sense of danger or something like that, he's the one to whom the communication goes to.
Sure.
To say something's off here.
Yeah.
You know, so that's who. But he's a completely separate being from me, and so that would
So
explain.
what's the connection between you and that being?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you? What is the point of contact
Yeah.
between that being and you?
Is that I am the one that has a benefit. There's nobody that benefits from my spirit.
Yeah.
So do you mean every human being has a spirit?
Yes.
Now, according to you, what is the point of, what is the contact? What is it that links you
With
the physical and the spirit? How is that interlinked?
okay.
I think first, when he says you,
Yeah.
how would you describe to you? Is it you, your name, your body, the experience of your life, or the essence of God within you? Would you say that is the real you?
The real me is that essence
Yeah.
of thing, right? That's what the Bible says. You know, He breathed into us, and then man became a living soul. And so, the thing that links me is that God essence that links me. But it's particularly to me. It doesn't, because a lot of times you'll have people speak about the spirit as this thing that's just out there over roaming. It's going places. It's doing what. That's some delusional stuff right there. That's some dangerous stuff. to be
Oh, they
involved.
say spirit is moving.
Yeah, they say, my spirit went and it was. I was like, what? You went where, brother? You are here.
Yeah.
And so, it's confined within this body.
Okay.
It's confined
Okay.
within this body.
Okay.
And so, when I'm not born again, the spirit it's only dependent on everything that the physical body is.
What I'm hearing you saying is when you're not born again, your perception of reality is more leaned on the external reality.
Yes.
Then
Perfect.
when you are born again, now you are able to tune in to that God essence of yourself and live your life from there.
Yes.
Rather than being heavily dependent on physical reality of life.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so this is where now it creates a problem, or it creates a danger for a person who's not born again trying to experience spiritual reality.
How so?
Because now you have to create your own paths. That's where rituals come in.
Okay.
Do you see that?
I agree
Yeah.
with you.
And so it creates all of those dangerous environments.
I mean,
and
you
all.
have to use force to get
Force. You are practically saying you're using
Yeah,
force.
using force.
Yeah,
You're using
definitely.
force.
So we agree there. And so the difference, the death part, let me explain the death part. The difference between an unbeliever in Christianity
Sure.
and a Christian believer is that a Christian believer, their spirit it's disconnected with their flesh experience, and then they have that relationship that is restored. So in the state in which a person who's not saved is in, it's a dangerous state because all the experiences of the body are attached to the spirit man. So when I become born again, it's not a ridiculous thing. The idea of being born again is that the spirit man was then revived to God. So it has now eternal life because spirit lives on, right? That's why when we speak about hell, people say hell will exist for a particular period and then it ceases. The issue that they're struggling with is how long does the spirit live?
Okay.
Do you see that? And so because your experiences and your thinking, all your experiences, there's something that's at the back of my mind, and I'm trying to avoid going there. Okay. I'm trying to avoid going there, because what ends up happening is that it closes people from being able to hear.
Okay.
Then whoever who doesn't want to hear,
bring it out.
Let him go. We're not here. I don't think, one thing I've noticed with this kind of discussions and investigation, right? It's not for the masses.
Okay.
It isn't. We're not trying to get 1 million of people. Right? We don't care, but we're trying to find truth.
Yeah.
So whatever you have in mind, please do not hesitate.
So let's put it. Let's go back to the Hinduism experience, right? To come to that point.
Sure.
So Hinduism and a lot of Asian cultures, they say one who is, especially within the Hindu culture,
Okay.
one is good, he dies, he comes back. But you only come back as something better if you were a good person.
Yeah, as an animal or something.
Yeah. And then people who were terrible people, they will come back as like ants or something like that. So something looked down on.
Okay.
So they're trying to create and they're trying to draw good for what one rewards themselves with when they die.
Okay.
That's practically what they're doing. To say, do good, you come back as something better.
Okay. They are trying to incentivize good behavior.
Yeah.
Is that any different from the common understanding of the common Christian, which is do good, you have a good
Eternal
life in paradise?
No. Remember, for a Christian, this is where it differs. For a Christian, if I'm born again, heaven it's a gift. I'm not working for it.
Okay.
The work for it is now kingdom participation. If a Christian doesn't become a good person, or if you can have a Christian be a terrible person,
Okay.
but if a Christian does not strive towards excellent behavior, they will not have kingdom participation.
What is kingdom participation?
Is that like the Bible talks about us ruling with God, with Jesus,
Okay.
and so because Christian theology teaches that when we die here, we go on to live with Christ for 1,000 years,
Okay.
and then in that 1,000 years of reigning with Him in the new Jerusalem,
Okay.
you'll have
You mean Revelation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have participation in that kingdom. You'll have parables like the parable of the wicked servant.
Okay.
What is that? It's a depiction of your behavior down here determines your rule and understanding. Because basically, I have the same value that God gives you.
Okay.
Basically, is that how far can you go at exemplifying the right behavior? So this is the person you've received. This is the knowledge. Now, your life must reflect both this.
Okay.
So behavior is not what's getting me into heaven. Behavior determines my participation in heaven.
But heaven is already assured as a Christian.
Yeah.
It's
You're
already-
going.
Oh.
So
If you believe, that's it.
if you believe
You
already,
believe,
it's
you're
there.
in.
Okay.
But also, this is now the place where a lot of people don't understand. They try to credit work or how a person is to. They try to credit that to salvation. To say, you go to heaven if you're a good person. Nah, that's not it.
Okay.
Otherwise, there was no need for Jesus to come if we could have done it. If we could have gotten there by ourselves or by certain behavior, there would be no need for the person. It wasn't the knowledge that was the problem. It was the person and what he gives when he comes.
Okay. You see, that's where I really, really, really don't agree, because when I actually just look at the person and the information that the person was giving, he was trying to push people to come to an understanding about themselves and the power within themselves.
Okay.
That God resides within themselves to able to live in harmony, not in suffering. That's why when you look at throughout history, the teachings of Jesus Christ is not a new thing. That's why Christianity it's not a new thing, but we have Him as a person. So,
can you give an example? You've said that before, to say
What was there
the
before
teachings.
Christ?
That's what I'm saying. The fundamental teachings, when I listen to the teachings of Jesus Christ, the love your neighbor as you love yourself, when you look at the teachings that we have in African communities of Ubuntu, they tell you about how to live with the other. For me, the only
But
way...
you went above that. I'm sorry for...
The only way you can get to understanding that you live like that with people,
Okay.
it's when you achieve that level of consciousness that Jesus had achieved.
Okay.
Because remember, these principles come about from your level of understanding of how reality operates. You don't just quote them like you read it somewhere. You have to have some understanding of how reality operates that you are able to teach this. So when you look at all the principles in the African communities that they were teaching about living with each other, it can show you that whoever was telling them this information had the level of understanding that Jesus Christ was having. Hence, this information was preached amongst communities to live like this. So for me, coming back to the discussion that brought us here today, I can say that, first of all, when you look at humanity as being on a planet,
Okay.
and you look at the stories of in the Bible, if you don't start from the premise of when you look at the story of creation and everything, if you don't start from looking at it like we were once a colony of these ETs coming from somewhere else, coming here to look for mineral resources, and in that they created a colony for their off-world planet and separated people according to whoever, let's say you have that territory, you get your own people, you get your territory, you get your own people, then you develop. If you don't see it in that lens first, then you jump over to the Bible, you won't be able to see the clear picture of the
But what
stories
makes
that
you
hear.
start from that lens of being a colony?
Yeah.
Where is that information coming from?
When you look at the Sumerian texts,
Yeah.
then that's where you get the stories.
According to the achievements back in the days or what?
They wrote it down.
They
There are
wrote it?
Yeah, there are stories of what happened.
What
there.
does it say?
It's
It's just in a nutshell.
It talks about this group of beings called, from an empire called the Anunnaki. We call it the Anunnaki, but they call themselves the Anak Empire.
So,
So-
we are part of that.
Yeah, they look like us. Hence the term, we shall make man in our image. It comes from them. So it comes from them. It's a story of two brothers, which were part of this royal family. Their father called An. So they sent out, as you see when you look at colonial empires, when they sent out to look for minerals or conquer, you sent out scientists and military men.
Okay.
So the two brothers is Enlil, another one is called Enlil. That was the head of the military. Another one is Ea Enki. That was a scientist, the one who created man. So they were sent out to come here to mine for gold. That's why when you look at places like Mapungubwe and whatnot, they see the Anglo-American. There was an article back in the day, some guys spoke about when Anglo-American was busy digging up for gold, they stumbled upon mine shafts which were so big that in the current technology it was impossible to achieve that. That showed you there was someone else digging up mines here before they came about. That's why now when you look at in Mapungubwe and Limpopo, they stumbled upon pieces of golds which were made into rhinos and whatnot. That's why it was telling them, like, okay, seems like these people here, seems like they were digging up gold way before us. So there's remnants or evidence of history of some type of mineral digging back then that right now it's there in reality. So Sharp, this crew came here where they had a fallout is when now they came with their own labor force. In the Bible, they talk about them as the fallen angels that came and wanted to have women, wives, children. Those are their workforce. They came with their workforce to work.
So there was humans down here already.
The previous version of humans, that one that we cavemen and all of
And
those.
as we are not...
we hadn't come to
descended.
the scene yet. Before, we hadn't come to the scene.
That's a very important point.
We hadn't come to this into the sea.
We'll
They
talk
w-
about the origin of...
Yeah. We were still those versions of human that look more monkey-like, very hairy and whatnot. So when they came, they came with their labor force. Their labor force worked and everything. For a certain period of time, their labor force rebelled. That, no, we are tired of these working conditions and whatnot. We want the benefits that you guys have. We want women. We want to have our own. Yeah, they wanted women as well because they didn't have women. They were just working sharp. As they were revolting, the chief of military, Enlil, that's where he was like, no, this is a problem now. Because he's the military, he was looking to wipe them out. But the scientist, Enki Ea, is the one that said, okay, there's a species that is already present here. Maybe we can take that species and create a new labor force and relieve our labor from the work that is done. Okay, no problem. That's now the beginning of when we are coming now into the scene. So the scientists did a trial and error of taking this species, some genetic manipulation, mixing it with their species. Hence, we shall make men in our own image. So in that's where they did a whole lot of experiments, trying to come out with this version of a person that can do the work and take instruction, you see. Did a lot of experiment, failed over time, tried. Even one of the scientists, they took the embryo and actually took it to term, to the extent that that's where now they created, I think the first species, they call it Adam. I think that's where maybe the term Adam came from. They call it Adam, like, okay, they finally was able now to create men. Because even the gene splicing that they were doing, the way they did it, they took one of their people and had them fight. The one who lost, that's the one that they took their DNA to mix. They want the weakest one. Because remember, they want to make men in their image, but not exactly like them. Because you want a workforce. You don't need them to be as smart as us, strong as us. You just need them to be able to take basic instruction to do what you need them to do. Sharp, no problem. They were able to achieve that, did the experiments. Now they were able to produce the group of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve is not a man and a woman. It's a group of being female and male. So when you look at the story now of the Garden of Eden, you can see this is what it was like, a big open biolab where they had these species which were roaming around in there, controlling when they repopulate, have sex, and when they just hang around doing their studies, sending them out for instructions, doing work. So for me, when I hear now what they call the fall of man, where now the snake came in the garden, when you listen to the stories from the Anunnaki side of things, it's when now the brother, the military chief, was now taking the now current man now, which the scientist brother has created, and was working him to the bone. No regards of life or anything. He was just focusing on work. The scientist one was angry because of that his scientific project is just being misused for this, because he had a love for science, a love for life. That's when now he, as they depict in the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, that the snake came and spoke to Eve to say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But when you look at it, at first it's
so
like
the snake is a completely different figure to the three brothers.
No, remember, 2 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, the snake is the other brother, the scientist one.
So okay, so the snake in the garden is part of them when they come.
Yeah, the snake is part of the group of the colonizers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are all brothers.
Yeah. No, the 2 brothers are the ones which are part of the royal family, the hierarchy at the top.
Okay.
And everyone, they are scientists, workers, military people. And later on, they had children.
Okay.
Yeah. So when the snake comes into the garden as they depict, you can hear the results of what he has done, that the first versions of humans, it sounds like we were clones first. Because when you listen to the story that after when they got kicked out of the garden, Eve will experience menstrual cycles. Yeah. That means that if you know biology, menstrual cycles, that means the producing of an egg. That means if you didn't experience menstrual cycles before, you were not reproducing. You see, that means we were some type of clones in the beginning. Then, for me, what I'm hearing after the snake's encounter in the Garden of Eden, it speaks about a certain genetical activation that happened to these two beings. Because you can hear that the level of awareness that came upon them, that they started to know the difference between good and evil. And the comments that came after that was, now what man has become like us in knowledge of good and evil. So practically some level of awareness now, perception of reality has come. We are no more innocent nakedness in our perception of reality. We are no more children now. We know between good and evil. That's where now the military brother, the God that they speak about in the story, the military brother had a problem with it. Because remember him, he just wanted labor force. Don't have to think for yourself, know anything, take instruction. That's where now you see he had a problem with that he instructed the dumbing down of humanity. Our lifespan was shortened. And after we didn't have, what did they say?
120 years.
Yeah, and not the excess of the cherubim.
Yeah, they put an angel at the gate to restrict them from having access to the tree of life.
Tree of life.
They don't live forever.
Yeah.
In that version, what is the tree of life?
It's what allows you to live forever.
Forever.
And I'm saying in his version of it, so then we can't.
You can hear this is some type of technology that facilitates rejuvenation of your genetics so that you can live long. So because now you've come to your awareness of reality and what practically for me when I hear that I'm like free will was unlocked. But because they want the workforce and laborers, now we can't have you living for long because now you're no more going to serve our own interest now because you can think for yourself. So to minus a lot of problems, you rather have a short lifespan rather than living for 1,000 years. So reduce your lifespan, kick you out, go see for yourself what you do, how you live out there. So from
say the point that you...
So from the stories that you hear from the Sumerians, that's where now fight amongst the brothers broke out. That, okay, remember, he's part of the military. We are here on a project for our home base to colonize and get minerals so that we can serve the interest of our home base. Whereas you are a scientist, you are given the responsibility to create new workforce. Here you are falling in love with your own scientific project. You are disturbing our primary purpose of why we are here. Now that's when now they had a fallout. That because of you doing this, now you must be given your own territory. We'll take our own territory. So over time, it has been the battle like that amongst them. So you can hear now when you read the First Testament in the Bible, when it's filled with a lot of violence, competition, taking over territories and all of that. The sloppy part that, as we were saying, that in compiling the Bible stories, they try to bring all of those ETs under one umbrella to speak about God. But when you look at that, it's not correlating because those stories are about different types of what we call gods, running different territories, fighting amongst each others, destroying each other's civilization in different corners. Hence, now you're going to see why God has such level of violence, invading, causing wars. So now that's where you're going to see the term where worship no other God than me. Then that means there's other gods, and you guys are jealous of each other. So there are battles now over time. It has been who's going to take rulership. So they've been fighting amongst each other that, okay, this is my turn to rule. I want to rule. I'll sabotage your rulership in order for me to take over. Then you're going to see even our behavior now as humans. These things of nation going to fight against each other for resources and whatnot. Why don't we just collaborate in uplifting each other and that type of principle? We take this type of behavior from them.
But wasn't that behavior present before even they came?
But remember, behavior is something that is learned.
No, but I'm saying
Or before
they
came.
mean, the monkeys were fighting already
for territory.
for territory.
Okay, that one I can't comment because we don't know how.
Okay. So one question before I let him. Sure. Maybe I want to get his point of view from all this information because that was the main topic.
Sure.
So this information that you're getting,
sure,
how true or how credible is it?
Yeah, very credible.
From what makes you have that confidence? Because
remember, if you're gonna be proving information, there must be evidence.
Yeah, is there evidence?
Yeah, evidence is there. Archaeological digs, remnants of even the past civilizations is there all over the world. Stories written on Sumerian tablets, they are there in libraries in England. You can pull it up on the internet and have it transcribed. Good researchers that are on the ground researching these topics are there. Okay. So for me, I usually like to do a 3-point correlation. I take information from here. If I find it somewhere else and it correlates, if I find it on the 3rd point, then that's why I'm like, okay, now I can say, okay, there's something here. Not just from one source and say, okay, this is true. I have to get it from at least 3 sources which are totally disconnected.
Yeah.
Then I can say, okay, I can actually speak this in public, like, okay, this is the information that is there, this is what I found, and this is the picture that it clears. So that's what I'm saying. Once you get this picture of our history, because keep in mind, this is our history. Once you get it, now when you come to reading the information of different religions and whatnot, you're going to start to understand, like, oh, that's why we have different religions. That's why we even look differently, because that was the genetic marker of these different groups where you are heading your people. You brand them according to the genetic marker. Then you have dark-skinned people, Asian-looking people, white Caucasian people, different types of races and all of that. It was them branding that, okay, people who look like this belong to this ET who's ruling in this territory.
First question.
Sure.
Before we get to the mission.
Yeah.
Or did you have another one, a follow-up to that?
No. I actually wanted to introduce to, maybe we can reply. So,
okay.
It can maybe also give you a pointer.
Okay.
So, he's got information that apparently is credible in his understanding. Your Bible also has information that apparently is credible. You can also verify it with facts, with history, and so on. So now, how do you respond to such information with your understanding?
Okay, let's go back. Let's start with the mission. Right. So we're saying that these guys were sent on a mission to come and do mineral research and stuff like that.
Yeah, mining practically. Let's just say mining.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is the history that they came from?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, if you say, okay.
Where do they come from?
Yeah, like how far old was their world when they came down here?
From the information that they put out there, like their world was very much way older than our civilization. Because you need to understand that once a civilization starts to be a spacefaring civilization, that means your advancement in technology has really improved. Okay. As you can see, we are still struggling to get off the planet. So, and you look at the length that it even takes for a civilization now to even venture out in space and become colonizers of solar systems and whatnot. Yeah, that can tell you.
But that's dependent.
How so?
Because if you look at, there are certain innovations that dictate the speed of other technologies.
Yeah.
Right? And so Like for instance, if we're studying, if we're just looking at what artificial intelligence is doing right now,
Sure.
off of one particular technology, we've sprung up so many, like
Yeah.
just out of ChatGPT, we are now speaking about AI models that can generate pictures out of nothing.
Sure.
And you can literally just kind of like get them to write a script for you and all those kind of things. So, and that has happened over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take long for we can pick from that, that it doesn't take long to build an entire civilization. And it only depends on what technologies are available that allows that.
Yeah.
For example, the coming of electricity.
Yeah.
It dictated over the last couple of years
Yeah.
the speed to coming of how do you make it commercial? How do you make it accessible?
Sure.
How do you build enterprise behind it? How do you, like the whole thing?
Sure.
What technologies can you build off of it? What kind of uses can you have for it?
Sure.
So in the early years, that is all dependent. After we have electricity, boom, everybody can go and start thinking on how they can think. How can you make it mobile? And that's how you now build batteries. And then batteries allow you to build cell phones and cars and all that kind of stuff. And so the civilization part, the reason why I'm asking that part is because I want to ask you about the old man. You said when they came here, there was an old man that was here.
The old man.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
the
old
monkey.
version.
Oh, our previous version. Sure. Yeah.
So what is it that, because I'm trying to put to you that this is kind of like, it puts an offshoot story
Okay.
from the one that we have in Darwinism.
Okay.
So it's bringing up a different theory of the origin of man.
Okay.
So where does that fall?
What does?
Because okay, let me
If I
present
can jump in, there's I was talking to a cousin of mine. He also has a lot of information when it comes to this. Apparently, there's a gap where we still haven't found a way to explain the jumping of from.
It doesn't make sense
It doesn't
in our scientific literature.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So I understand your concern here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now, if you introduce a new theory like
Exactly.
this, that completely disregards Darwin,
You
then
know-
there's a problem.
Sorry to interject. What your cousin is talking about, that the gap that we can't account for in the showing up of men, it's like we just appeared 200,000 years ago. It's because they're not including the alien part in our history. Because the alien part now is going to tell us the story of the reason why man looks like he just appeared 200,000 years ago. Now it's going to tell you about the story of the genetic manipulation of men that happened. Because he's talking about, when they talk about the previous version of man, that hairy man, and evolving throughout time to us, they say in natural evolution it's too short of a period. Because when they do genetic lineages, they say we showed up 200,000 years ago. So 200,000 years ago, when you read these Sumerian tablets, that's when now the experiments of creating a new workforce they were doing. That's when now you see now man, this version of us showing up into the picture. But because science is not including that part of our history, that's why they say there's a gap that we don't understand what happened that men
So-
showed up.
I don't know. I have so many questions. I was going to ask, so those aliens, why don't they come back? How come we,
That
don't see them?
that was my next question.
Why?
No,
Why?
we
why
can
don't
get
we-
into
yes.
How come we haven't seen these guys?
It's a failed project.
If they love gold so much, we still have a lot of gold. Back in my country, we have plenty of it. Why don't
But
they come?
remember-
or do they have some technology that is just
monitoring. Remember, let's say we are them. This is us. We created a project. First, it was a colony. We extracted the minerals. But in extracting the minerals, we created a project of living beings. Because I don't know if the Bible talks about this. Or maybe
You're bringing up another topic, the minerals. What are these minerals? But anyways, yeah, the Bible, the history.
they speak about the military brother had a problem with even how fast we were even multiplying. I don't know if God had a problem with how men were so wicked and evil
wanted
and
them
wanted to wipe
God
them out.
wanted
That
us
was
to-
the brother. He wanted to wipe us out because we had
And
started.
it happened.
Yeah, it happened. Look at the contradiction. God wanted to wipe us out, but at the same time spoke to Noah to save some of humanity.
Why?
But it's not one
It's not a
thing.
contradiction. The
No.
question is, why does he preserve
No,
Noah?
No, you know the problem is when Christians read the Bible, they look at it from our perspective. Me, I look at it from the other angle. Like, you wipe us out, but after you come back, you want to save us. No, this is two different beings. So the brother wanted to wipe us out because he didn't like
So
us.
this justifies the
The flood. The flood. That's the flood that we are talking about.
Okay, no. The point that I'm raising is that when you say the saving aspect
Yeah.
and the destruction aspect
Yeah.
justifies that there was multiple sources.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the story, it tells you about the scientist one is the one that who went to talk to Noah. Like, hey, Joe, there's a flood that is going to happen. Make sure you save some people and some genetics. Because don't think about Noah was some primitive person living in a hut and whatnot. Noah was an engineer, was a scientist.
You guys are pushing history.
I'm telling you.
Y'all are pushing history.
Because, you know, the thing is, in the
No,
Bible,
I
they
was
just give
knowledgeable.
the summary
The
of
Bible
the
is
guy.
hard enough to believe. Now this stuff is like next level.
Don't worry, because I'm talking about it now. Slowly, the information is coming up in society. Because when you look at, even though we are side-tangent a bit, when you look at in the American space right now, in the military side, they are pushing on, they've been working with this ET beings called the Galactic Federation, that their Congress is bringing about military people to come and testify that what have you guys seen. So they have separate military projects that they've been building, crafts which can travel across solar system like no problem. They call them black budgets. So they've retrieved even crafts which have crashed, and they've found, they call them non-biologics.
Is
So
this classified
ETs
information?
But now it's getting declassified because there's soldiers coming out testifying about this. The latest one, it was this other guy called David Grouch, and the one who just wrote a book now. He's going all over talking about this. Lou Alexander.
I don't trust people that write books about things.
No, but he was part of the military. If I was part of intelligence. But remember, this is a push. Money or not, reality is reality. There might be money. But if I'm talking about an experience in my work that helps humanity have a clear picture of what is actually happening, then, yeah, I might get money for that, but
Let's
it's
go
the
back
real.
to this man's question. Why haven't they come
Where
back?
exactly? So imagine. Remember, in civilization, there's stages of how society evolves. So the problem that when you look at this information that we were facing, remember, this royal family where they were coming from, they were starting to fight amongst themselves of who must rule. As you can see, like this, as they say that there's something about human worship that is so addictive, because they even put it in our genetic coding. You can Google it, that the worship gene, they discovered it, that they instilled in our genetic that we must be built to
It's not
worship.
God.
You are the God of the Bible. These are scientists. They programmed it in our genetics so that we are. You're not surprised like how people behave around celebrities, popular people, falling, just screaming for them, and and even those people themselves. I can know you right now, but suddenly when you start to become famous and people worshiping you, and you change. You just develop this certain persona.
But is that is not particular to human beings? You find it in every species.
The worshiping.
Yeah.
I don't know about in others.
Worshipping for, let's say, a male dominant as a leopard is pretty much worshipped by the rest of the.
Okay, I don't know about other species, but for us,
Yeah.
for us,
No, I mean to put someone or something else on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I think it's very common.
no, but just look at how humanity behaves with someone on a pedestal. Like how a celebrity shows up, people fainting, seeing a person, screaming and
those are crazy
fainting.
people. But
Yeah,
I get it. I
but
get what you're trying to say.
That person can't even do any wrong in their eyes. You see?
Okay, I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
So these people, they came here.
Sure.
They did this. They planned this entire thing.
Sure.
How long is their age life?
Oh, they live
Yeah.
long, way longer than us.
But we don't have any proof of that.
No, but the stories when you hear, even us, you hear the
You
stories.
see now the problem with stories. At
Oh,
this point,
okay.
if they
Let me say
exist-
information.
Can you guys calm down, please? We are doubting you.
But wait, let's get it.
I guess, someone could do the same thing. He could say, angels, come down, we're doubting. You see, that's my concern here. The way he's approaching this, seems like he has solid information with solid evidence. As much as a Christian, or I guess any other person would come.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's definitely a misunderstanding or an illusion in either the two understanding or one of them is completely erroneous.
Fabricated.
Yeah, fabricated. Yeah.
So when information and evidence is presented in front of you,
'Cause-
exercise of intelligence is, can you change your perception when
But we don't need.
evidence-based
But we don't need-
information
Wait.
is presented in
Right
front
now,
of you?
within the Sumerian test,
Sure.
also something that's very interesting to know is that there's a lot of fragmented pieces of that.
But when you listen to the fragments part, it's like describing a story, then it gets to a fragment part. But when it continues, you can still see the context.
You can
It's
make
not
it up.
like
you can make up.
No. Remember, when it's fragmented, when you're reading, it cuts. It tells
Okay.
you this part is broken. Then it continues, but you can still see the overall context of what is being discussed. It's not like it relegates the whole picture of what it's trying to
So
tell you.
right now, what we have, the evidence we have,
Sure.
right? If we are talking about the Bible, let's look at the kind of information that it gives me,
Thank
which is the very same thing that they did with the Book of Mormon. So what they did with the Book of Mormon is that they said, let's look at the text. Is it credible?
Yeah.
So textual criticism-wise, is it credible to where it claims to be from?
Okay.
They looked at the maps that come from the Book of Mormon.
Sure.
And guess what? The Book of Mormon maps don't make an ounce of sense. They don't fit the world that they are talking about.
Okay.
Number two, the Book of Mormon speaks about animals which are known not to have been in the environment at which they claim to be.
Okay.
They speak about having certain plants within their thingy, which are not in the environment by the time when they are talking about it.
Sure.
So which shows you what? This is a fabrication because the map doesn't match. The animals, so he has the wrong animals, he has the wrong geography.
Sure.
So already now we get a problem. And also, he claims, Joseph Smith, he claims that the angel that helped him translate the document,
Sure.
the silver, these golden plates, he claims that he handed them over to the angel, and the angel took them. God knows where he put them.
Sure.
We would want that evidence, but no, the angel took them with him. He came back with this document, no problem. So, at the end of the day, we are only dependent on his record of what he claims was the history. But at the end of the day, even when we come to question the document,
Sure.
it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Bible.
Yeah.
It presents the right plans.
The what?
The right plans.
Right plants.
Yes.
Or plants.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you question when the Bible talks about when Jesus is teaching about the fig tree and these are trees that are very much into the setting in which he is.
Sure.
When he speaks about cities that are going to be destroyed and cities that are close by, and they were traveling to so and so, it was a 2 days journey. They can literally find that within the geography. It fits the geography setting. When you go to Revelation, the book of Revelation, guess what? John in the book of Revelation is not talking about Israel and what. He's talking about Europe. Why? Because the Bible claims he was arrested in Patmos. And you look at what is around Patmos. It's these European cities that are around him. Philadelphia and whatnot, and these were areas right around the Isle of Patmos. So the book aligns with the geography. It explains why he's talking about these particular things that are within his reach. Within the life of Jesus, when he talks about the marriage supper and whatnot, and having a person designated over the marriage supper, it's not the person who's the groom, the way we do it. You are in charge of your wedding. When your wedding falls apart, it's on you. It fits the Hebrew culture in how they did weddings. Right? It even tells you of rituals that were done at the weddings. It tells you there were 7 cups. There were 7 bowls that were thingy, and by ritual washing, they were washed like this, and they were expected to be empty. And then it tells you, fill this water. So by right of what kind of rituals were done by that period, yes, you would expect that those bowls were empty. It fits the model. Now,
So you mean to say there's no gap in the Christian
So,
information?
if what I'm trying to show you is that it fits the setting, it fits the history, it fits the culture by the period and way before them, and it fits the the area in which the story is being told. So let's say, for example, if you find any gaps, there's probably an answer that probably you think like.
So we can depend on the Bible.
Yes.
Exactly.
On the record that is provided.
Exactly.
Now, another thing that you use to show credibility for the Bible, it's the timeline that it puts forward. So it tells us, okay, Jesus came he died 33, right? And so he gives a prophecy of the destruction of Jerusalem. And guess what? How long that takes? It takes 40 years. Jerusalem is destroyed, and the temple particularly is destroyed by AD 70 by the Romans. They have it in record. So right there, and also the number 40 is a classic. Moses calling period, and then the number of years they walked, and all that entire. He fasted 40 days. So it's very much numerical in the line of, in how the Bible has spoken about these things. The writing period in which they're thinking, it lines up with the timeline of a person's life. Okay, by the time when Jesus calls the disciples, they are young youth. Okay, because when he's calling them, they are at work with their fathers, and he just he walks up to them, and then he says, "Follow me." Now that's very much classic with how a rabbi would get disciples at a young age, and it was actually a privilege. It will explain why would a father just allow someone to come and say, "Follow me," and then you just go. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense within the sense of why would anybody just think? But if you understand the culture of how disciples were taken, it fits the model. So if these kids were taken at about 15 years, which is what they say the youngest was probably at that time, and he is writing up until the period of 65 AD, the time when Paul is writing and so forth, and he is having all these issues. It fits within a human's lifespan. That these kids were like 60, 70, 80 by the time when a lot of these documents were completely completed. That's within a lifespan of a person. So we can by that deduce, yes, a person could write this and could have had this type of an experience. But then with these documents that we're talking about, who do we credit?
You mean the Sumerians one?
Yeah, like the disciples.
Remember,
right?
Remember, with writing, it must even test the test of time, of storage. Because when you look at the Sumerian civilization, we thought there was nothing before Egypt moving forward. We thought there was nothing. We thought civilization was starting at Egypt, then moving forward. But when you look at the Sumerian text, it tells you now, pre-Egyptian civilization, what was happening.
On what materials are they written?
Stone, to make sure they last forever. Because they found them buried under rubble between Iraq and
those
Iran.
Stones have been carbon tested.
And they carbon tested it. Because the challenging about carbon testing is you take the fragment
out of the very...
you see. So you're not you're just getting a clue.
And how long, how old are they?
They are dating them, pushing them 200,000 years ago. So it can show you around that era.
And all these things
Yes.
are all documented in there.
They are there. Online, you can go online. They are, if you're not satisfied with online, you can go into England and see them in the library there.
All right, so let's go
So
back.
how long is our Bible here? The writing.
The writing.
The writing.
Ancient, the Old Testament.
Yes.
Did you study the book of Enoch?
Yeah, I've read it.
So even there, you're still not there because it's not
No,
in
no,
the
no.
Bible.
The book of Enoch is recorded to a point where even other writers who are disciples acknowledge the writing, and it doesn't deviate from the Christian doctrine. It doesn't.
But in the
What
book
does
of,
the book of
well,
Enoch
the book
say?
of Enoch speaks about Enoch being taken by aliens.
No, it doesn't say that. It speaks about God being taken by the cherubs.
No,
by a cherub, by a thingy. What do
So
you call it?
what do you think a cherub could be?
You see, now we
God-
shouldn't.
No,
I
isn't weird? Remember,
I
back
think you
in the
guys
day.
are arguing. Well, I don't know anything. What is it? So the book of
basically-
Enoch. What is it?
Oh, sorry.
The Bible says Enoch walked with God, and he was no more. That's all it says. That's all it says.
He
This
was
guy
no more as in he died.
Yeah, no, he didn't die.
Yeah.
Enoch was actually literally taken, and off he went to heaven. Yeah. So now
He's
they
not
make up
spectating
an
the-
alien.
He's misleading.
What if he just fell into a pit or something?
Nah, he didn't fall into a pit.
They say he was taken.
He was taken. Yeah. So it literally says that Enoch
By the
walked with
angels.
God.
man.
They say he was
Yeah.
taken by God.
Yeah. So there's a whole thing about the chariot. The thing is, once you insert a spaceship,
Sure.
we have to show evidence
Sure.
that actually shows that the technology continues.
Yeah.
The continuation. You see, if we are talking about a technology
Wait,
that was there,
wait. Remember,
do you get my question?
remember. When you say continuation of technology,
Yeah.
you need to understand who are you talking about. Are you saying continuation of technology for humans, or a technology which was possessed
That
by
shows.
the colonizers?
That shows certain technologies have they have evidence. The thing, remember, the Egyptians, which is why we can't explain how those guys did what they did or how they built. They interacted. They did ndumbi.
What does that?
Ndumba. The sangomas and their shrines.
Yeah,
and
okay.
they do all these things. They were interacting with spirits, and when you do that, you're going to come back with things that we can't explain.
Okay, with the Egyptian one, I can tell you that
We have pure evidence with all these ancestral worships.
with the technologies that they have at the time, when you look at the story of Moses and him being chased, that guy has stolen the energy source that the Egyptian they were running on. Hence, he was chasing down.
I like how these guys are so dependent on the Bible.
He was that guy.
So how can you say that with such confidence?
He's a thief. That guy is a thief because when you look at the structure of the pyramid inside, there's this rectangular shape. When they measure the length and the width of it, it fits directly with the Ark of the Covenant. And when they look at the Ark of the Covenant and what its function is, it's a power source that they had plugged it in the pyramid to power the civilization.
So there was a plugging.
Yeah, that ark,
Now,
that
let's
ark is a
understand-
power source.
No problem.
That they plugged it in there.
I'm with you.
That guy stole it and ran away with
The
it.
Ark
No
of
The covenant.
No problem.
That guy stole it. That's why they will chase him down.
No problem.
It's not like the Pharaoh changes mind.
Oh, so it's stolen from Egypt. What do you say to this, my brother?
Suddenly
No
we
problem.
see load
No
shedding,
problem.
power
No.
gone.
You see, this is where the problem. You see, this type of information becomes. So you plug it in.
Yeah.
Now we all understand how electricity functions and energy
No,
functions.
our electricity. They were not
This one was
using-
remote.
They were not using our type of electricity. You can hear with the stories of handling the Ark of the Covenant and what it did to them, that this is a different type of power source.
But we
that they were
understand
using.
that the reason why it was like that is because that was the mercy seat of God. You did not have the
Nah.
right of
You see,
touching that.
that's where now you're putting the Christian perspective on describing technology. For example, they speak about where they took this ark and they tried to bring it out, and the people there got sick. They had blemishes on their skin. Where was the ark taken? I'm paraphrasing, but the story, you can hear that this is...
But this is the problem. Okay, no, finish that line.
From this story, you can hear from a technological perspective of what we understand now. This is radiation when you are coming in contact with a high voltage type of technology that emits radiation, that people will have their teeth falling out of their mouth, bleeding from their eyes, and blemishes on their skin. They are experiencing some type of radiation. That's where now you can come to the conclusion that, okay, this is some type of power sources that they were not handling it properly.
But then we have a problem now. When you say that he stole it, you imply that there was literally a device that he went with.
Yeah.
How did he carry it? Because we know that you couldn't touch it.
But the pictures show you them carrying.
But he was
that
alone.
ark.
He ran away alone.
Wait, when he crossed, did he cross? He didn't cross.
He crossed by himself. Remember, when he ran and he met, that's where he met the place where he meets the wife.
Moses was taking the slaves, isn't it?
He couldn't take anyone because remember, he had killed someone and they came and they accused him, hey man, you're trying to be a lord over us and so you think you will kill me like the other person. So he had to run. He couldn't tell anybody.
Wait, which part are we talking about? Isn't we are talking about when he was telling the Pharaoh to let his people go?
Yeah.
Asking for the slaves to leave.
Yeah.
That's the part we are talking about.
So we're talking about him coming back.
Yeah, him coming back and taking the slaves with him to leave.
So
that's where the Pharaoh now. Imagine, I allow you, okay, go with your people. But then Jiggy, I'm chasing you down. Why am I chasing you down? Because he stole the thing.
I like feeling in stories.
But the key thing that I'm trying to do
what you're trying to say.
is just to make it as real as possible, not to fantasize about it.
Yeah.
So
you're trying to validate that story using the Bible. Is that your personal attempt, or is that...
Wait, I'm trying to validate which story using the Bible.
How the ark
for example,
came.
the whole technology, Moses running away with the technology.
Yeah.
That's your guessing, a personal guess.
No, it's not a personal guess.
What is it?
The information is there.
It's there. It's written.
It's there.
And it's 200,000 years old.
What, the technology?
The Sumerians
No,
had
the
this
Sumerians.
information.
Do the Sumerians have all that? Oh, that's something separate.
Wait, I don't understand.
All right, the tablets.
The
tablets of the Sumerian. Do they include such information?
Such information is there in the Bible.
No, I'm saying in the Sumerian.
Remember,
Yeah.
when you are looking at this information, you can't just focus on one source. You have to look for multiple sources which correlate
Which are
the
not
same story.
Sumerian. Which are not Sumerian.
It can be Sumerian, you go to the Bible.
Do you see where problems come in?
No, but wait, you're not getting what I'm saying. Right now, if I look at one source and I say I take this as ultimate truth, then you are really not researching now. One source and
But
you say
wait,
truth.
the problem is that if this is not what Sumerians said...
But remember, Sumerians are before Egypt. Now we're discussing...
So you talking about the follow-up of that?
Because isn't we were discussing like...
Then you should leave room for error, for wrong interpretation or maybe wrong...
Yeah, because it's not evidential. It's something that someone said. And now we have to ask them where they got their information.
If we are saying that means you're going to disregard the information that the Bible says.
When now should be camera, you must look at the camera. They must read your eyes.
The camera's there. For me, I'm very careful with information.
Sure.
Including the Bible, anything.
Yeah,
that's why I'm always investigating. So I'm as careful.
Okay, let's summarize it so that we mustn't lose our train of thought.
Yeah.
Remember, we had a civilization before Egypt. That's what we were talking about. The Sumerians have their own civilization, Atlantis. It was said Atlantis was not even a continent. It was the whole planet. The fall of Atlantis spoke to the rise of Egypt and all other places where if you travel, you'll see pyramids built. So when we were discussing about the Ark of the Covenant and Moses taking, I was trying to bring us that the evidence for technology of these ETs, which were living among the people, is still present. That's why you can see this type of information when you look at the Bible, and this is the
Okay, now I think you can stop there. Let's not get into Moses' story and stealing
Isn't we were still
Yeah, yeah.
talking about evidence?
Okay,
So I was
okay.
trying to
okay,
bring
that,
us.
that I can take it.
Okay.
As in, there's technology that we cannot understand yet.
Yes.
Perhaps it could be evidence of some other.
We got it
perhaps.
somewhere else.
Yeah, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah, that I can take. But now, if we have to explain Moses stealing,
no, guys,
If it's not written in thing, like I'll give
But
you
wait, but wait, we know that Moses had an ark. Moses and his crew, we know they had an ark, isn't it?
But it's gonna bring too much assumption. That's the thing.
Wait.
We wanna stick to things we can
Let's
verify.
simplify it so that we don't confuse.
you know, I'm not very knowledgeable with the Bible. What is the Ark of Noah? Is the one that was supposed to cross
No,
the river with
The
us?
ark of the
He's told it's like a box like
it's a
that.
golden box.
Oh, yeah?
And he's told to design it a certain way. And that's where the issue I have with thinking
What was it supposed to do? What was the Ark for?
it symbolized the presence of God. And it carried the glory of God in that when you put it there, you couldn't touch it. If you touched it, you die.
Exactly. What will kill you?
Oh,
You-
I see what
you
you're
see it's
linking
technology.
is.
Yeah, but he's overthinking
that-
it because the ark remained with them, and they.
So what were they supposed? What we, as it's a symbol of the glory of God. So
Yeah.
What is it? Is it so? Because I understand the Bible doesn't like idolatry. It's not to be praised, is it?
No, it was the present, and so
People
it-
would pray to it then.
No, you would when you do your sacrifices, you would come in front of it once a year.
Yeah.
And you would sprinkle the blood around it. You would give
Oh.
thingy, but even the priest, it was not the average person who could come next to it. It only had access by the priests.
And he had to put on certain.
Clothing. He had to do a
Protection.
sacrifice in
Protection.
order for him to come to do thingy and stuff. It's just that's why I'm saying they're building a story out of something else.
But you see, the good thing is, when you look at our level of understanding of technology now, we can interpret what we are saying. If we didn't know technology, electricity, how are we going to?
But then the
say
continuation,
what's being
continuation. Do you see why I bring up the subject of continuation? If you say this was a device that they plugged in,
Sure.
and it would dispense some
Electricity.
type of electricity.
Sure.
In Israel, that's not how it was used. There was no such a thing. So that's where the
Wait,
problem is.
but-
It doesn't have continuity,
But remember-
even in the Bible.
Remember, when you look at the ark and its functioning, it didn't function on its own. It was plugged. You need networks of pyramids and pillars throughout your area to transmit electricity. It's not just operating alone. So if you don't have pyramid building technology, you see that ark won't be able to function at its full capacity.
So what was the point of them taking it?
Maybe to destabilize the Egyptian civilization.
But then
after
carry it
that,
around.
As you hear the message, what God was trying to do, destabilize Egypt and that civilization,
Okay.
and go somewhere else.
So continuity, that's my first issue. Second part.
Okay, so that we understand each other in painting the picture moving forward. When you say continuation of technology, are you saying continuation
We don't
by
see
the
any-
people?
Yeah, we don't
by
see
the-
any aspect of this technology
Yeah.
reflected, even if it's not by the people. We don't see it anywhere.
But remember, for technology to continue, people have to be innovative, work on the technology to improve it, to do other things. Technology doesn't just innovate on
Okay,
its
let's say,
own.
for example, you do not hear Moses ever speak about the Ark of the Covenant within the site, within the idea of it having source of power or something.
You don't what?
We don't ever have a picture of the Ark of the Covenant being spoken about, as if it has something, like something, like if you plug this thing, do you get what I mean?
But
Is that
wait.
there is no viewpoint that is ever provided of such a kind.
But-
when it is created, he is told what must be inside.
But wait.
Do you get what I mean?
But
he
wait.
can open it.
Okay.
There is what inside. There is this bread thingy there inside. So it creates a problem.
But wait. When we look at what you just said right now, I think it's very much key as well to understand part of the scientific literature that we have, like, let's say, quantum physics. In the ancient terminology or perspective, they can say the presence of God. But in modern day terms, we can say a free energy device. Because when you look at quantum physics and how they build free energy devices, it's just a box which can radiate a huge amount of energy. And where is that energy coming from? From the source of reality. That's why they call it 0-point reality, because it goes to the quantum aspect of reality. Some people can say the quantum aspect of reality is where God resides. If we don't look at God as the personification of religion in that sense, and we look at God as the source of reality, it holds a lot of energy that powers up reality. Right now, you are alive. You don't need to plug yourself, recharge. But you just live. And we know in your body, energy is running. Where's that energy?
There's too much interpretation within that. But
no. I'm trying to bring you to a level of simplicity with our modern day understanding of how things work, so that you can take those stories from back then and bring it to our current understanding of how things operate.
But do you know why I don't want us to do that?
Why not?
We must keep it within the biblical period where we claim it's from.
No,
so
the challenge with that, description and terminologies of the time, you'll get lost in that description and miss the picture and understanding of what's being spoken about. That's the problem I have.
Jump in here?
Sure.
Yeah. You know, maybe we can take another direction.
Yeah.
So, see, all of this sounds like there's a lot of imagination in this discussion. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Because why would you say?
There's interpretation.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the thing I'm avoiding.
Trying to link both, your side, you're trying to somehow link because you're trying to get the validity of the story. So you're looking for different sources.
Yeah. Exactly. I can't just take one source.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But there's interpretation.
Yeah.
And you should leave room for error. Now, for you as well, there's clearly an interpretation because you have your knowledge. So there's a bit of a gap in there. So if we arguing over stories of Moses and ETs and all that, perhaps we can get lost because there's so many interpretations. I mean, if we go in the Bible itself, I'm sure there's so many things that Christians themselves don't agree upon each other. So is there a way? Let me find out maybe. So according to your history, your information, aliens are the creators of humankind, right? Yeah. Now, who's the creator of aliens? What does the Sumerians say about creation itself?
Not just the Sumerians, because remember, Sumerians is just one source. It's not like
but Sumerians seems that, well, if they can give you such, let's assume it's true. They should have. They didn't say anything about creation itself.
The origin story, I haven't stumbled upon the origin story because the Sumerians and their documentation of information, it was when you read it, it gives a perspective of they were trying to inform the coming civilization of what happened for us to be here and the fallout that you guys are going to find yourself in. So, okay,
And then, following that, then it means then along the way, the story got misinterpreted into current religions.
Yeah, because when you look at the Sumerian stories, you can see stories from where Bible stories are coming from. But in the Sumerian context, they give you a broader story. Let's say, for example, when you look at the story of creation of Adam and Eve, when you look at the Bible, you can see this is a summary. But in the Sumerians, they tell you the process, the trials and errors, what happened finally when man was created, what happened.
From the original story, or because we just said they were before. Were they speaking prophetically of Adam and Eve?
No, they were talking about creation of man. What was the experience? What happened? How was the process? Their failures, their trials and errors, and after that, when they end up succeeding, what was the result? But when you jump to the story when you find in the Bible and you read that, you can see this is a summary. Based on that, this is a summary. But it still has extracts from where they got that. But it's too shortened to give you the full scope of what is happening. That's why it's easy just to take it off, God created man. but you don't see it as a scientific genetic manipulation of creating a being. There they tell you, we needed a labor force. In the Bible, you see Adam was in the garden doing the Lord's work, naming the animals, and that guy was old. You find him later on doing the work.
We'll come back to that part. Do you want to extend that question?
But
Or
wait,
no,
If I follow
think
my
that's the part.
direction, we'll go completely. So perhaps we finish here.
Yeah,
and then we'll see.
I want us to just
but
stick around the basics of what he said. This teaching is.
before we get to your point, let's just get the picture, then discuss in the framework of the picture. Because I keep stacking on one point. To simplify the picture, imagine us, we come from another planet. Sorry. We come from another planet. Let me.
Or perhaps the best picture would be what we're doing with AI right now.
I'm coming to that. We come from another planet. Our planet is facing, because the story is even like this. Let's say he's our father. You and I we are brothers. You are the military, I'm a scientist. In the Bible, the father, they call him Elion. Yeah, Elion. But his name is An. When you follow the title Elion in the Bible, it speaks about a being that dispensates orders, what must be done and what not. That was the role that their father had. We come on the planet, we're looking for minerals, we create a colony, we stay here. Our crew, scientists, other military personnel, we even start marrying amongst each other and having kids. Those kids come to inherit the colony. They have different type of territories. You take your group of people, someone has their group of people, they rule. Over time, they fight amongst each other to govern because rulership was exchanged like that. Then afterwards, because you need to understand, we are talking about one empire. That is a civilization that travels galaxies and colonizing solar system. But the information tells us that out there, there's something called a galactic federation. You could say the police for galaxies, where it's different civilizations that came together to establish governing principles of how civilizations must evolve. So over time, now when humanity picked up numbers, that's where you see that the Galactic Federation intervened in the humanity story, that there can't be any external interference of the evolution of humanity because we've reached a number where we must evolve on our own, because they have a rule called prime directive, where if you're an ET, you can't disturb another civilization on a planet in its evolutionary process. So sharp, the last phase where this intervention was brought about, when you look at the Sumerian tablets and other materials that correlate with this story, it speaks about one of the brother's son called Marduk. Planet Mars was named after him. It speaks about him that he was fighting to rule over the whole planet, that he even betrayed his whole family to rule and partner up with another ET civilization, alien civilization. In partnering up with them, the main thing that he wanted to achieve is for humanity to forget. That's where the beginning of our problems now, in remembering. They brought about a certain technology now that wiped us of our memories of ETs that were ruling humanity in the past and whatnot, because they wanted to cement their authority, bring about only one rulership, one worship of one being. So wiping us our memory was very much key. That's where now they established the monarch systems of royal families, which are going to be ruling society and whatnot. So over time, you can hear about this certain bloodlines which have been responsible in how the world operates, the world order of how we operate. These bloodlines where the children of this, or the genetic mixing of these ETs with humans. Because if you look at the progression of governance in society, you can see it's in our memory that we have now. You can see it starts from monarchs. Then society rebels when later on monarchs are no more efficient in how they treat society. People start to wake up and rebel. Then from monarchs, then you start to see the church, because the church was the one which was closer to the people. After the church, that's where now we see democratic governance. But at the center of it, there usually is some hidden people which really drives how certain things are ruled. So we might complain that, hey, where are these ETs? We don't see them anymore. It's because of this galactic federation, the so-called police in the solar system, that when a civilization gets to a certain evolution or establishment of governance, there must not be any external influence on the society. They must find their own path on how they evolve. So what this ETs done in different parts of our civilization, they created something called a prison planet, where they lock us in. That now when you die, your soul don't get to live and go and incarnate into another planet and whatnot. You get recycled, hence reincarnation. You get recycled into our own civilization. That's why when you follow these people who experience near-death experiences, there are a lot. The people who investigate this topic that compile thousands and thousands of stories that they speak about when they die. They go on the other side and they meet some elders, depending on level of programming of the religion or your environment that you've come to be exposed with. If, let's say, you were in the heavy Christian faith, you might go say, I met Jesus. Jesus told me 1, 2, 3, hey, 1, 2, 3, you see. But that's part of the present planet technology that they post on us. So based on your perception that you're living off, you will meet that. Others may say, I met my aunt, family members. That's where now ancestral worshipping comes from, because those people experience that. Like, oh, so I can ask for guidance from my dead people, from my lineage and whatnot. So the common theme that you hear in this technology, that you get met with someone that you are familiar with, or Jesus or your family, you get brought to these certain elders, they give you a life review, what could have happened, people that you did error to, and you get to experience how they experience interacting with you. And that guilt strip you into coming back to try to live a righteous life. Then you come back, do the whole thing again, you die. So they establish that to make sure that we get locked in. Even when you die, you don't leave. So over time now, right now, the information tells us that we are facing an era where that technology itself is getting destabilized, because we're getting to a point where we're about to achieve what Jesus was talking about, that the return, not the return of the person, but the return of the Christ consciousness that we are going to have in order to break out of that present planet. So that is the picture, if you look at it, of us in relation to ETs and our evolution throughout time. So,
do you see what I said in the beginning?
But wait, let me finish the picture. So the influence of ETs throughout time, when you look at it, stories, let's say stories of Jesus Christ. Let's say we are responsible, this is our colony. We're making sure that it evolves in the right direction. At that point, because it was many points, at that point where Jesus Christ comes into the picture, we can see as the custodian of our planet that humanity seems like it's hitting a stumbling block where it can't go to the next level. They're just drowning in this suffering. So what were we going to do? Because there's that prime directive that we shouldn't intervene in humanity's affair as our ET's alien self. So what do? We must enter the reality in their form in order to teach and improve the understanding of reality as one of them. That's why now you're going to have people like Jesus coming in.
He's just an alien.
Thank you.
Jesus is an alien?
Yeah. They just impregnate. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Let's
Yes.
be honest. That guy didn't have a father, Joe. You right now, a woman can get pregnant without another guy. So obviously, aliens have those type of level of technological advancement to impregnate someone without having a present father. So you see, because
There's too much reasoning in this story.
no. But wait, This is something I've studied. Remember, this is
Yeah.
not something I'm just pulling out of my head.
This
Yes,
is
I'm
saying-
from a serious investigation.
Sure, it's something like how you investigated. This is something I've investigated as well. So I'm just trying to simplify it
Yeah.
to bring normal day-to-day interaction with how seeing of reality. Because
You know the zeitgeist.
the who?
The zeitgeist.
But maybe the term that you're talking about, I don't
He
know.
talks about this.
But when you look at even throughout civilization, characters like Jesus, they are not alone. There comes different point. Because when you look at even some people who come to give us technological breakthroughs, they are one of those characters this ET sent in for us to go to the next level. So if you just pinpoint the likes of Nikola Tesla, some people just come in, are just bright, that everyone around them, they don't have that type of level of capability. And when you trace their livelihood, they were kind of not normal, like everyone else, kind of like an outcast. So you can see throughout humanity's evolution, there's been guidance, but not the physical ETs coming down, but through incarnated into the system so that you guide humanity. This so-called people throughout time, which right now in hindsight we look at, that person was a cornerstone in how society turned. Those are the key figures throughout the centuries, which you could say the ETs deposit that type of guidance into society to move in a
So
certain direction.
besides ET intervention, that is not natural to man.
No, which
There's
woman?
no intelligence is not all over the
No, but
universe.
we are intelligent.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
do we need a specific intervention from whether you call it ET or angels? Isn't that in human nature to improve and grow and learn? And
It is, but remember, it's like raising a child. Your child, you give them a certain leeway to grow themselves. But at a certain point, you come in direct, whether through information or through tools, to guide them into a certain direction. So it's practically just like that. We've been experiencing that type of guidance through at different points in time. Through medication, they were interviewing this other guy. He was part of the German military aspect that interacts with ETs, the ones that we call the Grey. Because if you follow this story, the military are doing things that is not part of our common day-to-day understanding.
no, military is always in advance. But
Very advanced. So even in the ET topic, they are way ahead of us. They know things that is not even. That's why now it's them who are championing the coming of us knowing about this. So the guy was in the German military space, the secret division, where he was the one which was interacting with these ETs called the Greys in order to exchange information about technology and whatnot. So he was interviewing them like, they were telling him like different points in time where they helped humanity change course. So he asked which are one of the key moments you could tell us. They were talking about, I think they were talking about the Second World War, where, I don't know if you follow such events, there was a rise of this, they call them flower power, hippies.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
rise of hippies. We were trying to negate these countries from going to war. So we introduced a drug called LSD. To, at least to help you guys out, expand your level of awareness. Because as you can see how hippies behave, they just want to live in
the
harmony.
outcast.
Yeah, you see, they want to live in harmony. So they're like, that was one of the moments that we were trying to guide. But at the same time, they speak about guiding humanity is a kind of tricky thing because you can't just force people to go in a certain direction. You have to put an element or leeway for them to figure things out on their own. So we might try to do this but they end up doing this. Like, for example, they said, when we look at the time of the atomic bomb, we were trying to introduce a technology to you guys, giving ideas on how to produce free energy. But what do you guys did with that?
But those
You
guys,
created a bomb.
those ET guys,
Sure.
they're not in a position to guide us because, I mean, you come and use us to mine.
No.
You as bad as we are.
Remember, that was a separate ETs. These are two different groups.
Oh,
not
so
just one
different
group.
groups.
Yeah.
From that galaxy.
Yeah. There's a federation
How do you
which
see why I asked lifetime and age?
So what do you, I think you had some
now
questions.
you can come in. But that is the picture
I see the picture now.
that
I
we find ourselves now.
I see the picture.
That's why I asked the lifetime age of these beings for them to determine that the plan has been followed through and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. It's one can devote himself to doing that. I just don't see it.
What don't you see? Let's clarify it for you.
I don't see it. Like the continuity thing,
Yeah.
I don't see it. It just doesn't reflect, even in history. We know...
Wait. I'm not getting you. Continuation from our side of evolution.
Yeah, like, remember I mentioned that the continuity thing, it doesn't have to be that man was using the technology, but you can see evidence of it in history, even if it is outside of human...
You're talking about
control.
our civilization.
Yes.
You're not
So
seeing the
there's
continuation.
The continuity of this alien race influence and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't see the DNA strand spring evidence thingy.
Why,
The whole thing of the scientist.
why are you saying you're not seeing it?
But
Enlighten
it
us.
seems
'Cause-
just to counteract that, not to say that I believe the story. I'm still trying to patch it up. I've seen a lot of scientists talking about a missing link.
Yeah.
So probably they can use that to quickly patch up anything then.
Yeah. And
So
so
what are you not seeing in
in-
the DNA?
in the DNA thingy, I'm not a biologist or anything, but within the DNA, we do know that we all have a common ancestor. That's very much evident in how we solve health issues and stuff like that, because we know we would respond a certain way to certain things because we have this common ancestry and stuff like that. But then also, the reason why I say I'm not seeing it is that first of all, there's two brothers.
Sure.
They sent down here. Let's just stick to the main points of the story. So they come down here to Earth. And this scientist is the one that builds the DNA for humans.
But wait, remember, it's two brothers leading a mission. It's not like it's just the two of them alone.
Okay.
They are
Or
leading
they
a
have an
mission.
organization.
They have an organization.
So they come here, they find beings on the planet.
Yeah, but at first, they came and did their own thing. They didn't interact with the being.
So
The being is later on where there was a revolt from their labor force.
okay, and so they build these beings after their image, after how they looked,
Yeah.
not after the beings that were here on Earth. So the people that were here before, the hairy man kind of thingy, they built a completely different species with some similarities, but a different creature.
Similarities, humanoid. 2 hands, 2 legs, 1 head.
All right.
Yeah.
So that so I'm just trying to build on that thing, and it's the scientists who decided
Yeah.
the rebellion thingy, who built around the rebellion.
Free will.
Okay. So the
Unlocked
scientists.
free will practically.
So basically, and also this whole thing is that these are the stories from the Bible. They just offshoot from different people. It's the decision was not God; it was this person, and so
You said the stories is what?
so like how you guys decipher the whole thing is that the Bible makes it all around God, or surfaces the stories is around God, as opposed to that there were different beings that were influencing the stories differently.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So first, I want to just answer why the extinction, right?
Yeah.
The reason for the extinction, the flood.
Yeah. Oh, we're starting there. We're
No,
starting at the flood. No, I mean,
we gotta go down the story.
no, but the flood is way down. We can start from different parts of the Bible leading up to different points where you can
No, I'm
see.
just answering.
Okay.
We don't have to debate this particular individual points. I'm just answering, giving an alternative for the reason was one wanted to save, and then the other one wanted to destroy.
Oh, you're talking about
It's one
the
person.
different characters.
Yes.
And one.
I'm dismissing that there was two different characters and saying there was
okay.
one person.
Okay, sure.
The reason is Genesis chapter number 6. Genesis chapter number 6 says, all of men's thought had become entirely evil. And we know how man gets there is because man was interacting with beings he ought not to. And we've described the very same thing with the Egyptians. And we've said, when people do things with these beings, you will get into trouble and you will start doing things that are not human. You can see it with the Mayan culture and whatnot and all
So
those
could
kind
you
of
say, just so to correct, could you say that, so you acknowledge that there could be beings, extra ET guys?
It's demons.
Oh, there's demons.
That's the part I want to get to.
So you're not disregarding that there are other beings. There are other beings.
There are other beings.
He's
but
calling them ET, you calling them
He's
demons.
making them special.
Wait. That's the cracks that is so good about these ETs. When they are crafting religion, is to make sure that even as external help, you mustn't receive it, that you must derogate it. Anything that is coming from outside that you're not familiar with is demons. Don't listen to it. Okay. So you see, even if they really wanted to show up as you guys wanted, like, why don't you come down? The whole population psyche won't accept it. But what I like, before we continue, what I like that currently, as you can see, religion doesn't have a strong hold of people's mind on society. Because just having this discussion back then, you guys will be planning on to burn me at the stake in the afternoon. So the good thing about now,
Your barbecue.
you see, the good thing about now, people's mind is not really locked in. That's where now we are good to introduce a new thinking about our reality and how things are.
Well, no, coming back
So
to gifts.
we can
So,
come back.
yeah, so
The reason for the
interaction with
extinction.
other beings.
Yeah. These interactions made these people extremely vile.
Yeah.
And God's mercy
Yeah.
was that they don't influence the next generation.
Okay.
And so what he was doing was actually showing mankind mercy
By what?
by preserving men
Okay.
that were pure from this corruption that had been done by these Anunnakis and so forth.
Sure.
And so Noah and so forth, they were not like something. No, there were people that were not affected by these genes and interaction with thingy.
Okay.
And so as a result, they were told,
Sure.
y'all build the thingy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like they were not told. They didn't get to tell thingy. It's just that at that period, it's them that are pure.
Yeah.
So they get taken. The flood happens as a sign of mercy from God to extinct these people who continuously, if you read the verse, it says, they continuously thought evil. You can imagine a person who's just sitting there. What wicked thing can I do next? And so that's the reason for the extinction.
Okay.
And it's not two different people. You can write it down.
Let me
So
mark.
it's not two different beings. It's one. It's God
Okay.
having the destruction and saving those that to show mercy for us to have a chance to make our own decision, whether you want to become wicked or whatnot. And so that was the thing. And then you brought up the subject of them making the creation of man. You said it was the scientists that did this.
Sure.
And the same scientist is the one that came and brought about the idea of the rebellion. So
free
meaning,
will. Free will.
okay, free will.
Yeah, let's say free will.
They did have free will before, but let's not debate that one. They did have free will in the garden. It's just that they were restricted from one thing. And so his idea, from the Bible's perspective, his idea was, even that one thing, don't listen to it. And so that's rebellion. It's that you have everything, but it's the one thing that you don't have that you want. And so, but let's not debate that one. Okay. The debatable thing that I have here is that this narrative pushes the idea that Christians borrowed ideas and instead of recognizing as different beings, but then have a rebellious creator who is creating the rebellion.
Have a rebellious creator
Yes.
who is rebelling.
Who's
the
creating the
creator.
rebellion?
For me, I see the devil in the story.
No, you see, the problem is we start from
The scientist.
we start from the assumption that the Bible talks about. That's why I like our first introduction. Like when you think about God, or in your explanation, what do you think God is? Because if we establish that, then when we come to the Bible, you'll see the Bible is not a story about God that is the source of reality, of source of creation. The Bible is about stories of different ETs which were ruling amongst men and were fighting amongst each other, and we humans were caught in that.
But the
line of
verse
fire.
literally, the book literally starts by, "In the beginning, God created."
Which beginning? Which beginning?
The beginning of creation. Because remember, if we, because
Say
now,
which beginning.
because
What
now,
do you mean by which beginning?
But if you say in the beginning and you follow that story,
yes,
But
the
wait,
beginning of what he's
wait,
about to talk
it-
about.
Okay, so
is
perhaps can I quickly jump in?
Uh.
If we are all arguing over the middle of the story, can we perhaps start it from the very beginning?
okay.
Yeah,
Let's make clear on what we mean
The
by
creation.
God here. Creation.
Yeah, it's God.
okay. So
Yeah.
the creator here. Let's define this creator. I have a problem with this creator.
No, I'm not okay with this creator. It's not, I mean, if it's something that was created, then afterward create
creates
or
the rebellion.
alternate. I'm not. What is creation?
No. Let's start first. In your explanation, what is God?
He is. That's why in his introduction to Moses, that's literally how he introduces himself.
Like,
I am.
but
And God created us through His
Through his own
image.
he created the environment in which man was going to be. And so when you read Genesis chapter number 1, chapter number 2, you constantly see him create something, and he says, and he saw that it was good.
Okay.
Because he is creating it with purpose to serve the being that he's about to place on the earth.
can
Okay,
you
I
tell
want to
us-
explore that. I want to
Okay.
explore that. Okay, let me grab that since everyone is writing down. So
You're the only one with that.
yeah. Brennan doesn't like me. So God. You say what? What is God? You say He is.
He is, yeah.
But wait,
He creates us through
wait,
His.
dude.
Yeah.
in his explanation, can you grasp what he's talking about?
No, not yet. That's what I'm trying to
Explain
grasp.
to us fair.
No.
Oh.
We're getting there.
Okay.
So there's God, then there's man,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
Man is an image,
Yes.
all right? Since we've been here, actually, we've been doing a lot of imagination. We've
Yeah.
seen ETs and
Sure.
floods and IT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are an image.
In case you want to write.
Okay.
What is an image? What is the process of imagination? What is an image? An image is a static thing, is a static version of a dynamic thing. Because for you to have an image, you have to stop something that is moving.
Oh, that's a picture, isn't it? We
Yeah,
have
it's an image.
Moving image.
Well, a picture is an image, isn't it? Yeah, a moving image is a stack of pictures
Sure.
which just replicates that whole movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, which is a static version,
Described.
is a static, is an attempt to grasp, I guess, God. If we follow this logic,
Yes.
right? So you have something that is movement, that is eternal in its movement,
Sure.
and then we're trying to capture it, but the very attempt to capture it, we make an image. That is the process of imagination, right? Now, how do we do this imagination as men?
How do we do that?
Yeah.
It's what he says about the creation of the person. Is that you are in the image and likeness. So he uses two different words there. So there is how you look on the out,
Sure.
but then there are certain qualities of what makes a human being.
No, I'm saying as human beings, how do you imagine a thing?
In your mind.
You paint,
Yeah.
you paint or reflect.
Or reflect. So you reflect, which means what? You look back. You can only imagine something
That
gone.
was.
But remember, there are those spontaneous ideas that
Like
come.
what?
That just drops into your
Like
head.
what?
But they come from somewhere. The
They-
point
yeah.
I think he's trying to point is that they all come from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, to show you that you can only capture something that is gone,
That's
that is in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and that is your thought, that is your thinking, right? So if thinking is imagination, which is the whole process of acquiring, storing,
Sure.
if that process constantly keeps you away from God, which is what we've been doing here, imagining stuff, ETs, and then we create, maybe, who knows, maybe there's some other beings, and so on.
There'll be other ones.
Yeah. Imagination, and tomorrow we create, once we have a new understanding, we go on and on and on.
Sure.
This surely must be the devil in action. This idea, this constant
Constant seeking, which does not.
capturing, because it keeps you away from God.
Yeah, it's part of the present planet
Yeah.
technology.
Call it whatever you want. Still, that is
But
an
you guys have a
imagination.
theory for that.
No. See,
What theory?
what I'm
theory
trying
is-
to
But-
point at, right? No, call it. You could be right, but what I'm trying to say is, your very answer keeps you from that, whatever you call it keeps you in that prison that you're talking about. Your theories.
But I won't agree there because.
Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I won't agree there because one of the fundamental aspects of human awareness is the truth sets you free. Once you come to understand or aware of something, it doesn't have the power that you used to have on you, because usually things that have power on you is something that you are unconscious of. It's just working on you in the background, and you are just behaving in a direction without knowing.
Okay, but what is the truth? Isn't the ultimate truth God Himself?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So now, why
What do you
worry?
say? Okay, for me, I have a problem with this gender. That's why I was coming to.
Well, no, well, I'm saying Himself as a way of speaking.
Okay.
Well, it's a general understanding,
Okay,
right?
sure.
I don't mean
Okay.
to,
Okay.
because I mean something that you can't think about. So how can you depict it as male or female? We're just using our common understanding to talk about it, right?
Okay.
So the ultimate truth is God,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Why do you concern yourself with all these tiny truths of ETs and
In
the
between
Moses
God.
and all them?
Understanding the environment that we are living in is very much key for me.
Yeah,
'Cause-
well, it's important. I mean, we do mics with them. Those tiny understanding. We do mics and we can do all these conversations. But now we're talking about something man is unable to get to because he constantly imagines it,
I don't
theorize
understand that.
about it.
Yeah.
Because we said, right,
Oh, you mean God?
first, God, right now, as when we say God, is us trying to imagine,
Yeah.
to understand God. So we're using our process of imagination, isn't it?
Sure.
Right?
Mhm.
So that process is fueled by our thoughts.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are fueled by our past, which is imagination, captured, stored ideas and theories and all that,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
Why do we give so much value to this? Why have you given so much value to this process for so long? Because you did a lot of investigation.
Sure.
Where is that urge coming from?
Yeah, I like that you even explained it as an urge, because
Yeah,
it's
I know
only
it's an urge.
It's an urge.
Similarly to him, probably,
Yeah.
it's an urge to know.
Yeah. So it shows you that there's this built-in aspect of ourselves that is looking to remember the environment that we are operating in, so that you can participate in life more from an informed position rather than from an ignorant part. So for me, someone might ask, okay, what is the benefit of all of this information that you are talking about. The liberation that comes with understanding, okay, what is God? Then if all of this topic that we are looking in different types of religions, these were ETs just teaching men on how to live with each other, practically rules and regulations of how you should behave. That's what summarizes the religions. So these ETs, how does this benefit you? Now you come to understand that the presence of what we call God actually lies within you. The power of creation is within you as well. There's no separation of you and God. So in knowing that, then you open up the question of, okay, if that's the conclusion, how do I participate using that vested power within
I think
me?
we're trying to do it right now.
Yeah.
Right? So you're saying truth is attractive.
Sure.
Truth is screaming everywhere that like, come to me, right?
Yeah.
So you go your way, you go through the Bible, you went through the Quran as well and so on. You get to a certain understanding.
Sure.
You've done the same as well, right?
Sure.
Now, but we've figured that any understanding is somehow, some way, a denial of God because it's an image.
I wouldn't agree
Wait,
to that one.
Wait, let me show you what's before him. You are here. What you are talking about is here. Is that there's you, and you are heading. You feel that all knowledge and acquiring goes here.
Sure.
It goes to what did he create? Where am I? What am I supposed to do? What's my interaction? What's my everyday life and so forth? The question would be to you, what's in front? And so for everybody else that's looking, it's that to me, I'm here going towards God.
Yeah.
So what is to you here
Say.
and where are you going to? Do you see why I'm asking that?
Same to you. All right, so to
All of
him,
this, we are just trying to come
Well, you're
back
going to truth. God.
to God.
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
There's
wait.
no other way.
I don't like that.
I
I don't like how you said God, and he said no. But then when we say
No.
knowledge,
There
or
when
truth,
I was saying no. I was talking about this gentrification of
Okay.
God, of male
when
and
we say
female.
himself.
Yeah, when he said
Said
himself.
okay, so
'Cause
to you,
the God that we or I'm talking about here, it's not the personification of men that you even give God a gender. But I understand where the Christian background when he speaks about God as a gender, because these ETs were males. But he was explaining like, okay, let's use this because it's just a form
okay, so
of...
to you, what we are trying to get to
Sure.
is truth,
Yeah,
and that truth is God,
yeah,
and that truth is in you.
yeah, source of reality.
So do you see?
Okay,
there
so,
isn't a person.
so we
Do
see.
you
So
see why?
let's make clear distinction. So what you're saying is you need knowledge to get to God, and when you get to God, you say God is you.
Yeah.
God was all
Yeah,
the
you're
time.
gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Like God
God
all
was
the time.
all the time,
Was-
yeah.
But it
You.
was hidden
All
from layers of perception.
So, okay, so that's you. Gift, if I'm not mistaken, you through
what's
knowledge.
transit? Knowledge.
Yes.
That's knowledge.
Yeah,
Yes.
knowledge. Through knowledge, you get to God.
Salvation.
God is in. God.
So the
Salvation
knowledge-
is.
yeah,
meeting
there's
God.
Jesus there.
Oh, through
You have
Jesus.
to put the person. Jesus brings the knowledge
You going
that
to go
allows
through
me.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus,
But
the knowledge of Jesus.
Okay,
Yes.
All right. Clearly, this is a separate entity from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not me.
Oh, God is not you.
No.
You.
Do you see why
There's
I
a
said
separation.
in the beginning? Do you see why I said in the beginning? It's all about finding excellency within men. Do you see what I meant?
So,
All right, so let me show my
so
picture.
you don't think like
that's
God is
I was
within you?
I was showing you that the understanding that you guys come with, it's all the same. It's that man comes to elevation. It's man coming to elevation.
You know.
All right,
what-
so let
oh,
me introduce myself here as well.
Yes.
Because I have a different, slightly different one.
Okay.
All right? So to me, God, which is truth,
Sure.
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to.
Sure.
This me is knowledge. I don't need knowledge.
Okay.
knowledge forms a part of me.
Okay.
Whether I call myself spirit, soul, AI, ET, whatever, that is after having gathered some knowledge, and that forms my identity, right? Now, the only way for me to get to God is if this process of imagining and making up stories and if this completely stops,
Oh, you
then
remove.
naturally God. I am not saying I am God.
Sure.
For as long as I am here, God can't be. God is something that me as a man can never touch. Because
Okay.
I'm involved in a process of imagination. An image, when you walk around, your shadow isn't you. It's a reflection. There's an interference that has come through. It's an environment, it's kind of hitting you, and then there's a sort of background, so some sort of residue. So I am a residue.
Can I explain to get if I'm getting you
Yeah.
what you're saying? So you are looking more of an experiential part of God, and you're saying it's distorted with knowledge.
No, any experience is known to me through knowledge. How do you experience anything?
Okay, let me explain how God, the way from our previous conversation.
Okay.
He feels that this creates this is a distraction. And trying
knowledge is a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the process of trying to idolize pursuit of knowledge is just exhaustion. We should come to a place where you are.
So you're looking for more experiential
No.
aspect.
You see, an experience is in the realm of man.
It's acquiring. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
in the realm of
experience
man.
still is
It's
experience
a very
is still
small
within,
affair.
where his mind is concerning the subject of him and God is that it's this idea of
That's why, by the way, I'm so against some religions, if not all, this idea of imagining God, depicting him, whether through a cross or through
An
anything.
old man with a beard.
Anything that man has come forward with, trying to depict that which he can never be,
Sure.
is ultimately taking him away from that. Now, if you're serious enough, you might know that, okay, that which I cannot be, right? So maybe we're using language to just try to communicate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, for
yeah,
the sake, because, I mean, we're living, we have
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah.
But really, if we had to talk about God, we would come and sit here for 2 hours with no word at all.
I think I can comment to what you're saying. In part of the information that I study, someone speaks about the place that you are trying to get to is being described as a place called the void.
No, that
there
is
is
an
no
image.
place to go.
No, isn't that, remember, I'm just using language.
No, I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
to
where
describe.
he is.
Yeah, no, I'm just, don't mind what I'm saying like that.
Okay.
Because I'm just describing
Or the void as in
what he's trying
You see,
to get
when
to.
you say the
the word.
void,
The
You see
void.
the word.
the void,
is.
yeah. See, the very second you said the void,
Yeah. You know about
the,
this?
no, but
Okay.
I'm learning. And by the way, I've met so many.
No, I thought
people-
maybe you
No,
had-
me, I
no.
have. Me, I have no. I know exactly what you mean.
Right.
It does represent it, but
It's
that
a
void
representation.
it's a
You see,
representation.
that's
but
what
it,
I'm
there is-
against.
No.
Or
I think
It only depicts the picture of.
Yeah, it's an image again.
Okay.
No. What you just explained
Yeah,
here
yeah.
explains what people who've, remember, I'm using phrases so that we are able to
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
Explains the people who've experienced being in the void.
How can you possibly experience a void?
Remember, that's what I'm saying. These are words just,
Isn't it an experience, a recognition?
No, because when they are asked, can you explain
Oh,
how the void is?
Yeah.
They use words that you're using right now.
okay.
Because they ask, how does it feel being there? They speak about feeling it's a human experience. So being there, don't imagine it like it's gonna give you a certain sensation. Sensations are part of the human experience. When you are there, feelings are not processed. It's not processed like that.
So do they mean that it's emptiness as in it's not living?
Emptiness is part of the description.
Because to me, that which I'm talking about
Yeah.
is very much alive,
Eh,
but
alive
alive
is
in a
there.
way that we can't. I can't even begin to
Yeah,
imagine it.
exactly what you're explaining.
Mm.
It's the description that they usually give.
So
they even complain
if
like
that
the
is the
words.
case,
Yeah.
if that is the case, if that is something that cannot be thought about,
Sure.
why is this thinking happening?
On our level.
Yeah. I
Remember-
understand we think we're talking, right?
Yeah.
We're doing something, we have to
Yeah.
survive, we have to walk and all that.
Sure.
In our realm, I get it. What's the use of this process
Of
when
thinking.
it's coming to the truth? When it can't possibly take you to the truth then. If any attempt
Because
to
there
get to
isn't.
it is kicking you out.
Remember?
Isn't that prison what you were talking about?
Yeah,
That prison
that's what
cell?
I'm saying. It's part of the dynamic of the prison.
So
planet.
you are the prison then.
No, the planet
so?
itself has a technology.
Isn't that an imagination?
Nah, I'm not imagining that the planet has a prison. No, I'm telling you.
Have you seen
And the moon.
No, I'm trying to show you the actual prison here, not the one that you've read about.
Okay.
I'm showing you the actual that is happening
Yeah,
right now.
I'm coming to comment to that. Part of the setup of the prison, remember, is to bring you to a level of your own perception to imprison you. Because remember, what we are discussing here, and even our topic of God, or what he was explaining in the beginning of all this religion came to one thing. Perception. All I'm hearing is leading perception towards you not seeing.
So are you not caught in that mistake then?
I'm not what?
Are you not already caught in that prison
Oh, what we're doing here is untangling yourself. Untangling
by using the
yourself.
very same thing that is tangling you?
No, you're not using the
Entangling you.
very same thing. You are coming to get a clear picture of what's happening. Then you are able to perceive reality. Right now, let's say, for example, what you're saying, thought, it's constantly running. That's
Why? Why?
It's part of the technological system of the present planet that
Yeah,
you
I know,
can't
but
come.
why? Why?
Yeah, I'm coming. You can't come to a coherent state of emptiness and just be still, no thought, no running.
So instead of you looking at it
That's
as if
God
you
level.
are,
Yeah.
instead of you looking at it as if you are too small, too terrified of something beyond comprehension, you saying it's an alien that has put me in jail.
Exactly.
Why? Why can't you
Exactly.
deal with your own fear?
Me?
Yeah, your
Why
own
do you need the
smallness.
alien?
I don't understand. I don't
I'm putting it like this, right?
Your existence is on the dependence that there was a prison that was created for you.
Sure.
And now you're trying to break out of that.
Yeah.
Why do you need that?
Why do I need the breaking out?
Why do you need the alien
The
to have
alien
created?
to
But I
create a
don't need
prison.
it. It's what has happened.
But
You know what you guys are saying? It's
Yeah.
like
No, I
I'm
get what
making
you
this
mean.
as an excuse.
No, no,
to
no,
no, no, no.
justify my imprisonment.
Look, Katlego,
Or unless if I'm not
listen,
getting
my
it.
brother,
No,
no.
that's
I
not
haven't
it.
done the research you've done. So I have gaps in my understanding.
Okay,
But
sure.
according to what you've given me, right?
Okay.
I'm saying, why focus on the prison planet while you still have a very serious prison here within yourself, which is this image making,
Image making of.
yeah, this
Dealing with
imagination,
this
your own problem of you can't stop thinking.
Oh, for me, it's not a problem. That's why you see practices like meditation are very much key.
So if it
in
wasn't a
thinking.
problem, then you wouldn't be going to meditate to keep your thoughts in check.
Ah, man, this system is working you hard, Joe. It's working you hard.
So it's a
Like,
problem.
Like
It is
the
a problem.
technology is good. I can't lie.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's very good.
No, okay, let's assume it's a problem.
Okay.
Constant thinking. I mean,
Sure.
anxiety, fear, jealousy, anger, that is our common problems.
Yeah,
That is, I mean, people are dying right now.
sure.
People are being chopped alive. I mean, DD is going to jail, and these are real problems.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough that we're sitting here, no one is, but it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So why can't we deal with our human problems?
Yeah. That's why you see.
And the cause of our human problems is thoughts.
That's why you see all these masters throughout time, what they were coming in, they were trying to teach us.
No, let's kill all the masters.
Okay.
We are three here.
He's killing Jesus.
My apologies, please. I'm not. By the way, I'm not trying to be offensive. Sometimes when truth is
We
trying
did
to,
this. You see this part here that he's talking about. This was our discussion last time.
Yeah.
The last time we had our 6-hour discussion,
Sure.
it was on this thing. That's why I'm saying I have an idea of where he is in his. But what he's describing here, it allows you to come to okay, what conclusive idea can we come to that allows?
What's the first step from here?
Yeah.
Okay, from my perspective, I could say the first step.
Removing the
No,
alien.
we're not the first step yet. Let's clean up.
Let's
the mess.
clean the alien.
There's no
Yeah.
removal. Oh, okay.
No,
Now
let's clean up the
now
mess
we come
first.
to practical steps,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Practical.
Okay.
Now we've
Practical
theorized.
steps.
With all our knowledge.
We've established what's happening. Now let's come to practical steps of how
How
do
long?
we go about it.
How long there?
2 hours 20.
So,
we still-
can you make it to 3? You have enough space.
It's currently 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we?
Best we can do is another 30 minutes.
Another 10 minutes. They have other guests as well.
Okay. So,
So-
now we're coming to
Let's
practical
deal with
steps.
facts,
Okay.
not things that we believe to be facts, because he can easily challenge you. Maybe you could be right, but according to your limited knowledge, you could lose it.
Sure.
And vice versa. Now, let's clean up our own mess. Let's kill all these masters. Now, for a master to come, it means there's a problem.
Yeah.
You're stuck somewhere. What is your problem as a human being? What is your
The
daily
human
problem?
experience is filled with too much suffering.
Suffering. Suffering is too much.
Sure.
In fact, the only thing that is there, I would say, is suffering. Because any man who's going for pleasure is running away from the pain,
Sure.
the suffering. So those are very small, tiny moments of pleasure and occasionally joy. That is the only thing that really a man can enjoy.
Sure.
Now, what is causing suffering? What is the source of your suffering?
Sinful nature, in the sense of you are missing the perception. Wrong perception.
What making you miss perception?
Maybe conditioning.
Your condition,
exposure.
which is what? Knowledge.
Yeah,
Your knowledge is causing your suffering,
exactly.
right?
It might be limited. Yeah.
Knowledge is always limited
Yeah.
because you can always add more on top of it. So, your knowledge, which is your thought, is the source of all your problems.
Yeah. I like
Movement.
to summarize it like perception. For me, perception is the source. Perception
The source of what?
of all suffering. Perception.
Yeah, and you perceive, your perception is always limited. Because what you're perceiving right now isn't what he's perceiving.
Remember, when I say, let's say, for example,
Yeah.
me and him, we are twins. For example, we are twins. Yeah, we share parents. Our parents die. Me and him, we are twins. But look at the key thing in perception. Our parents can die, and I say, wow, our parents left us, 1, 2, 3, this is bad, and this is perception. This is bad, we're going to suffer and whatnot. He can say, wow, I'm grateful for our parents, the experience that we shared with them. They might have passed out, but I'm grateful for the experience that we shared with them.
Yeah.
And that leads him to behaving
Yeah.
in a different manner than me, that I go on in this perpetual unending suffering, that I lost my parents. So at the core and the fundamental difference between me and him, we shared the same experience, but because of perception, we ended up experiencing.
Well,
two
it's not
different
exactly the same experience.
No, we lost parents.
Yeah. No, but anything that was there before means the experience was never really the same because even the love that you had for the parents wasn't the same. So the experience to you is entirely different. The event, perhaps, as maybe you meant the event.
Okay,
Is-
maybe,
the
we
event.
share the same event.
Yeah, but you have...
But our perception
Yeah.
of the event leads us in two different
Yeah.
behaviors.
And what causes that difference in perception?
What causes? You choose.
No, what causes that?
Maybe when you
The
look,
past, right?
I wouldn't say the past.
Well-
Usually, fundamentally, when you look at people's behavior,
Yeah.
they are, I call it their emotional home, where on a day-to-day experience, your emotional state. That's why we are human beings. Your
But what shapes
beingness,
your behavior?
my emotional state?
I mean, why do you prefer meat over, let's say, salad?
No. That's another different
But it's a
discussion.
behavior, right?
Yeah, but
All
answering-
behaviors are the same, really. They're the source. What shapes your behavior must be certainly what you've been exposed to.
No. That one I don't agree, because when you look at human psychology and going through life's experience and patterns that people go through, the study shows that once a person changes their emotional being from what they're used to on a day-to-day basis, that leads to them behaving in a total different
Okay, but
direction.
what causes the change? What causes the change?
No, you choose. Let's say right now, for example,
Yeah,
you are tired of your life.
yeah.
You're tired of experiencing same type of patterns.
Mhm.
Now you seek to change something about it.
Yeah.
That seeking to change.
All right, so, okay, just look at the subtlety of what we're talking about. You are tired of your life. There's tired, right? What causes the tiring?
The experience that I'm
So the
getting.
past.
Okay,
what you've
maybe
ex-
we're not
what you've
getting
been
to-
exposed
What
to.
are you looking to get
No,
from what I'm saying?
I'm trying to show you how you operate.
'Cause-
What makes you do anything at all?
Me, from
Yeah.
answering your question, I'll tell you what makes people move in the directions that they move.
Yeah.
Their emotional state, their beingness.
Yeah, but
It's
what
what-
causes the emotion?
No, emotions is the essence that what we were talking about. The soul is the enclosure of emotions that we get.
No, Katleko, look, you're not getting me. Make it simple, right?
Okay.
You
That's
look, you're stupid.
Uh,
You can be offended by that, right? I'm sorry, I don't mean it by that way. Right? No, I'm trying to prove a
to
point.
answer you,
Yeah.
if I was in a angry emotional state on a
Yeah.
day, that
No,
would lead me
whether you
otherwise.
get angry or not is not the importance. I say something offensive,
Sure.
right? You know what it means, right? You can decide to be angry or not angry. That is an emotion. But you need that contact first.
Yeah.
So what has happened will shape your decision. Either you say yes or no, but you need first a certain kind of contact, right?
Sure.
That's what I mean by that. The past
Yeah.
directs you somehow, some way, right? The past always is interfering with this moment here.
Oh,
In
that's
that
what you're
sense.
trying to explain. That
That's what I'm trying to
the
explain.
past influences our day-to-day human behavior.
Activity. I'm trying to bring it back to thought.
So what I can add to that is, past is just events that condition your emotional being throughout time to be in a certain state that you live with on a day-to-day basis that will lead to you to repeat in your decision making based on how you are feeling on a day-to-day basis.
That's exactly my point. It conditions you.
Sure.
Where there's a condition means there's a linkage, right?
Yeah.
You are linked to a previous event,
Sure.
right? So that is your movement of thinking.
Yeah.
It's that constant storage that you're going back to.
Yeah.
And yet, that is what's causing all the issues and also the solutions, right?
Yeah, the solution
Now,
is there as well.
we're talking about that is on our realm. Use it. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Use it on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
But we're talking about something beyond any image. You are just an image. We're talking about something that doesn't fall into that small box of playing with knowledge and imagination and all that.
Okay.
What's the important? Why do you use that to try to get to this?
Wait, now I don't understand, because I thought at first we established that our thoughts are the root cause of the problem. So
Yeah.
besides what we've been discussing, now we are talking about practical step to
Yeah,
end suffering.
practical steps.
Isn't we are talking about practical
Yeah.
step to end suffering?
Yes.
That's what we are
Yes.
discussing.
And the source of your suffering is thought.
Okay, for me, I would say the source of your suffering is your emotional state.
Yeah, and we've established emotional states are triggered, you are conditioned by your environment, which is what has happened to you.
Yeah, but remember,
Yeah.
the main reason I stay with your emotional state is because you can't go back to those events and try to correct them.
Yeah.
But you can correct your emotional state.
Yeah,
and
whether
free
whether
yourself.
whether it affects you positively or negatively, that is not the point. The point is it affects you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the case in point that I'm trying to make is you can't go back there and change what happened. But,
Yet you keep on going back.
but wait, you keep on going back because you are left with the emotional experience that moves with you throughout time. But the good thing about how we were made is you can change your emotional state and release the strength or the grip that that event holds on you.
And that kudos, do that. I'm saying that is here.
So now, since I thought we were talking about practical steps to end suffering, this is what we are discussing.
No, practical. Let me show you how impractical
what he's trying
that
to
is.
get. What he's trying to get to is where it's not based on an individual
Effort.
Hey, guys, we are in this human experience.
No, wait, look.
You guys are running away from the game.
No, we're not running away from the
But
game.
if you're talking about...
I'm saying use thoughts at all. First of all, you can't even decide.
You guys are talking about
No, do you think...
suicide.
No. Listen.
That's the reason.
No.
Do you know why
a lot of people misinterpret this, by the way. They
do you
think
know why
they must
he
jump
can't?
off a
Yeah, what
building.
we're discussing...
Do you know why he can't? Human excellence.
No. Okay.
I don't know.
Give it
I'll
to me
find out.
again.
No, Katlego, look,
Because
bro.
now it sounds like you're talking about people must kill themselves.
No, killing yourself won't take you away from this. You
Okay,
kill
let's
yourself.
come back again.
You see that prison planet you talked about?
Sure.
I believe in it 100%.
Okay.
Killing yourself is not going to take you
Yeah,
away
you're
from
just
this
going to
game.
come
You
back.
come in this thing.
So,
This is your hell.
okay, let's try it
Just
again.
describe the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Let's
So-
try it again.
Right. We're talking about practical
Solution
solutions.
to end suffering.
And the most impractical thing is your thought.
Okay.
Because it keeps you in this thing of image.
Okay.
An image, you're an approximation,
Okay.
an idea.
Okay.
Now, why can't you stop this ideation, this search?
Okay.
First, if you see it, and let's do it practically right now.
Okay.
Can you decide to stop thinking?
Yeah, through meditation, you can stop
Well,
the train of thought.
How do you do that?
You sit in silent. At first, thoughts will just keep.
But the
flowing.
very idea of
Who's
not
looking?
thinking is
Yeah,
thinking.
is thinking.
What?
The very,
very
idea,
idea of not thinking
of
is
not
thinking.
thinking is the trigger. You've started a process.
Please let's not get captured in the terminologies because we are trying to communicate something here. So I'm gonna use these descriptions.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
keep in
okay,
point
let's use
the fundamental-
meditation. No, I get it. I get it. Because we're talking about something beyond words. I get it. I'm not taking your word for it.
Sure.
So, meditation, you say thoughts keep on coming.
At first, thought will
Yeah.
keep coming to you.
Who is looking at those thoughts?
Your awareness is experiencing those thoughts.
What is your
It's
awareness?
God.
Ah, you see now, you've fallen back.
Do you see what?
You see how you've fallen back?
How? What do you mean? That's why I started by saying, look,
Yeah.
the source of reality is God. Everything in creation is just an expression of God to experience.
Okay, so when
Life.
you say the source, I think, let's be careful with what. When you say the source
Yeah.
of reality,
Yeah.
it means the beginning of reality.
not
What
the
source is beginning, isn't it?
No.
Okay, what is
Beginning
source?
now you're talking about time.
Yeah, but when you say source, then what do you mean?
Source you are talking about the fundamental.
Why don't you like the time factor?
Yeah?
Why don't you like the time
Because
factor?
I think perhaps because it's time himself. eh?
No, time is a man-made construction. And
But you see again, you see what you are avoiding. What you are avoiding is exactly
What you are doing.
What you are doing.
But wait.
Okay,
you guys
let's-
are playing
okay.
around with it.
No. It's not. It's
No,
not playing with words.
I'm not.
When we're thinking on this base of philosophy, we have to be descriptive of the very action that
Yeah.
you are partaking.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we say when we say if the very idea of not thinking is thinking, is that you are holding the thought of not thinking.
No. Have you guys meditated before? Because that's
To me, this is meditation.
No. In meditation,
You know,
I'm not-
you know, you
Wait,
know why?
he's talking about
That's-
blanking your mind.
Wait, meditation, when you are there, you are not saying, I'm not thinking. That's not happening. You
Well,
are
opening
just
your
in-
mind.
I don't know anything about that, but what I can say, I think you are. I could be wrong. Sorry.
Okay.
I think you are caught in an illusion, the trap that you're talking about. You see, you have the impression that when you meditate, there are thoughts. You are watching thought. There's an awareness of thought. I'm saying, you are thought.
Me as
You
a
cannot.
person.
You cannot be aware of anything else but thought. Put away thought. There isn't a thing to be aware of.
Wait. Then
So
let's
that
start
means
by
you are still thinking.
Let's start by describing what
We don't
is
have
thought.
enough time.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll,
okay.
how many minutes we've got there, Brennan? 10. Yeah, so let's quickly talk about that process. You are observing thought,
Sure.
all right? So which means there's an observer here.
Yeah.
And then there's that which is being observed, all right? Now, you are under the impression that these two are separate.
Okay.
That is your impression. Because you say, you know, that which is being observed is thoughts. So thoughts are coming, and you are constantly there watching.
Sure.
Now, take away this observed. What is the observer observing? Is there such a thing as an observer anymore?
Yeah. You see, if you're a meditator, you know it start off on this level where you are an observer and thoughts are running, the observed. Then, if you stay at it long enough, now you become the observer.
Observing what?
Nothing. There's nothing.
So then there's no
such a
observation happening.
There's no what?
There's no longer observation.
There's no observation. Now
Yeah.
you're just experiencing.
No, there's no longer
Sensation.
experiencing.
No, you're experiencing sensation.
What is a sensation?
Usually, if let's say you have some big trauma baggages that you have, and you go to that place,
You will start crying.
They'll all going to raise up. You start crying.
Yeah, but what are you crying for?
Isn't the conditioning that you experience?
Yeah, which is thought memory. Thought.
It is thought.
I wouldn't say it's thought because your body is a technology that accumulates experience.
Even your hands have muscle memory.
No, get me. Your body in itself is the instrument that we use to experience this reality. It accumulates all the experiences and stores it within itself. After that accumulation, that's why you can say you
That's when the observer now comes into being.
You're constantly observing, basically.
Because you see, if
You
look,
see, our next conversation should be that.
Yeah.
Because, you see, that's why I'm saying, you see, that's why I started with that point. To say, the goal of all these belief systems is to get human excellency. So, and at this level of teaching and stuff like that, what happens is that you call it a delusion. It's an illusion that you're not thinking. But you are. How are you How are you at a point of refreshing a thought and a feeling of what that experience did if you are not thinking?
it's kind of like right now, right? We're talking about sensations. We're talking about sensations, right?
Sure.
Right now, you are acquiring all this information, whether through hearing, watching, feeling. It's only when I mention your pinky that you somehow you have the impression that now you are looking or feeling the pinky, because you have that knowledge of what is a pinky, right? But without that direction, the thing that is kind of like making it central. There's no longer a center. You are obsessed with the center, which is you, your thoughts. This thing of image, picking up portions.
No, I don't agree. That's why sometimes I say, experience meditation and then we can have this conversation that...
How do you experience meditation?
Sensation.
But that we do that on a daily basis.
Nah, this
Sensations.
is a different type
You
of
don't mean these sensations?
Nah. That's
Why?
why when you listen to all these teachers throughout time, they will talk about...
No, we've killed the teachers.
No, wait. Isn't I'm trying to... We have
No,
people watching.
that's a very... No, we've killed... We don't want them to think we are their teachers. If they have teachers, they follow them.
They must experience
They must... This is... I mean...
Okay, wait.
Following the Bible as well.
Time.
No,
Let me explain.
just to quote the Bible. In English, I was going to say it in French.
Just say it in
Le
French,
salut est
then you-
personnel. Salvation is personal. I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah.
There's no teacher that can take you to God. Perhaps he can entice you, he can direct you, but ultimately you have to. So I hope they're
So you
not
are
taking
talking-
it as
So you
a
see,
teacher.
you are drumming upon my point. I'm saying that this is something that you have to experience, then we can have a discussion. Because
What is the experience?
Bring you guys through that. What I'm describing, you think that you are processing it in the mind. The experience when you are there, you are processing in the
But
mind.
where is it coming from?
It's
It's
coming-
memory. It's in memory.
No.
You see, for instance, why I'm not talking about my experiences, because that would be betraying that very experience that you're trying perhaps to convey. Because now I'm using my memory to talk about it.
You see, now if we're engaging together like this, you're
Yeah.
using your memory. But when you are meditating and you're in that space,
It's memory in action.
I wouldn't say it's memory on the mental level. I would say it's a sensation that is coming from the body. You are
So the
just-
body has memory outside
Yes,
of.
thank you. The body in itself, it's a living organism that operates. That's why right now you can go home driving, thinking something different, but your body gets you home. No problem.
No, but those are subconscious memory that is in operation.
In the body.
You have muscle memory.
Uh-huh.
But okay, when you say the mind, I don't know why people separate the mind from the body itself, personally for me.
Okay.
Because what is the mind if it isn't accumulated information through cells? It's still very much part of the body. It's not an empty space there where there's, like we're saying, ghosts floating around. It's the body. So the whole thing is the body.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is this idea that you can observe thought as if you are separate from thought is illusory. Now,
Also.
let's not, because we don't have time,
Oh,
perhaps
okay.
you go and you look. We've got, it's 10 minutes now. 5 minutes, yeah. Because we don't have time. Try and, go and look at it. But next time we'll find some time, we discuss it. But I think this is the center of all the illusion. That's why you have the ETs and all the different religions and whatnot, because we do not want to accept this fundamental illusion, our smallness.
So you think not accepting that illusion is the root cause of our suffering?
Is the denial of God, which is suffering.
I won't agree with that. No, me, I'm not denying God.
But
God is part of the existence and is part of me, and God is expressing Himself in this context that we are describing God and everything in creation. So
God, of course, is everything. Is all there
the reason
is.
why I came to this conclusion is because when you study quantum physics, it tells you about a field.
You see,
that has-
quantum also. No one has escaped this trap. Be it a scientist
just
or
ideas.
pastors or what. Because for you to discover the reality of quantum, an observation is needed.
But wait, that's one aspect of it. Quantum physics will show you, or you'll learn, that there's an underlying fundamental reality in all creation that has a feedback loop in processing information. That feedback loop, it's where we come in with all our experiences of everything in creation.
That I agree.
So it's constantly communicating and informing itself about
So you
what
see
is
that
happening in
constant
creation.
feedback that you're talking about, that's what I'm calling the denial of God.
Why are you describing
Because
it?
in
the
the
very
finite. At God level,
recognition, the very recognition of that feedback movement, God isn't any longer. Whatever you're talking, that fundamental whatever, has already been abandoned.
I don't agree, because at that level, I would say it's at the God level, processing information of experiencing. Because remember, when there's no creation,
If
then
there's a
it's all
God
known.
level, and there's an experience level, which is you, how can you link the two again? You've already introduced a division.
no, there's no division, because at the experience level, I'm giving the information.
So
of
why are you
experience.
putting levels?
Remember, we are talking, so you need to articulate the concepts in order for one to understand. So I can't just imagine it to you.
Yeah, that is time. That's the creation of time,
That shows the finite part.
which denies
Yeah, go.
itself God, because God is out of time.
Yeah,
Whatever
God
you
is-
call it, is out of time.
Remember, if we were to
just finish. You can finish. Can
if
have
we
the
were
last.
to look at the topic of God as the source of reality that knows all possibility that can happen in reality. But the key thing is there's a difference between knowing and actually experiencing the unfolding of those possibilities. And that's what you could say God is actually achieving trying to achieve with itself and its creation.
God is trying. You think God is trying anything?
Yeah.
Don't start another one.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's finish it off.
Yeah, let's finish it.
What we've come to call upon as God is trying to experience all the different possibilities that can happen with its creation and know itself from that level of experience rather than just knowledge in itself. Like, for example, right now you can study Europe, how it is, how they build the towns. It's way different than you going there and moving around and experience. That opens up a new level of experience. So with your life or with our human experience, we unlocked a new level of awareness and experience for that source of creation. Before, it could only just dream of us and know us from that level. But with us coming into this reality and experiencing, now it knows how it is to kill someone, to be a rapist, to be a whatever that is.
No, my brother Katlego, we must come back.
Okay, no problem.
And I think we will need definitely 5 hours. Because you see, to me, that's the suffering I'm trying to remove.
Yeah, suffering
in
is
this,
but remember, from our perspective.
no, we're done.
Oh, but we're talking, he can switch off, but we're talking.
We gotta
Oh,
go.
yeah, no, we go. 'Cause I gotta say, anyway, thanks a lot for being with us, guys. We'll continue next time.
Remember, from our perspective, suffering is from our perspective. But from the...
suffering is a real thing. I mean, I chop your hand.